It's a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Good morning, freedom lovers. Good morning, Ken Williams.
Good morning, Vic Porcelli. How are you, sir?
Good. How you doing, baby?
I'm good.
All right. Got a Friday today. Lots to do. Lots to squeeze in. A lot of great, important guests today, of course. Starting off with Dr. James Shuls from the Show Me Institute. He is Director of Research. We'll also talk to Larry Connors in his neighborhood. Jay Ashcroft, Secretary of State at 9:41. Susie Moore at 10:05. Deputy Managing Editor of RedState.com. At 10:25, Ken, with your permission, I would like to talk about a series of shows that I watched 2 episodes on last night that are hosted by Lara Logan.
Oh, yeah.
If you remember her, she was independent reporter. Then she was with CBS and then Fox, and now she's independent again. And a little something about her after that.
All right.
Yeah. And the wheel of audio clips at 10:41. Ken, who leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance today?
Vic, on this fine Friday, a young lady that you may know, Jessica Porcelli.
Oh, how you doing? Go ahead.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
She cracks me up. My wife feels like she has to break every speed record there is. Like when she dials a phone number, like her hands are always moving so quick. Everything's got to be done really quick. I don't know if it's a Jersey thing or what.
I just took I mean this, all right?
That's right.
I'm going
She
to
does
do it
not
right
mess
now,
around.
and I'm good.
And she's cute, so how you doing? Is today a special day?
It really is,
I can't
Vic.
remember.
It's Friday.
It is. It's Friday.
And Tim Jones, by the way, he seemed like he had so much fun filling in for Mike this
Yeah.
morning. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
great.
And he sounded great.
Yeah.
Sounded great. All right, let's get rolling. Director of Research at the Show Me Institute, Dr. James Shuls. Doctor, thanks for being with us this morning. How are you?
Hey, it's great to be with you. Great to lead off this great lineup you have today.
Well, we don't mess around here, okay? We do not mess around. All right, so let's talk about elementary education, secondary education, and this social emotional learning plan in Missouri. What was wrong with the way kids were learning for 100 years or more in this state? Why do we need to change things around?
Well, there's this idea, this notion that especially post-COVID, that kids seem to be more difficult. There are more disruptions, more troubling behaviors at schools. And so the state thought the way to address that would be to write standards, on a piece of paper in Jefferson City, and that would fix the problem. Just tell everyone, well, teach kids about respect and about caring and kindness, and everything will be good. And so that's of course, a silly way to put it, but that's basically what they did. The State Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, DESE, launched this initiative to create standards for social emotional learning. And I want to be clear that this is a term that people mean different things when they say it and when they talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
When people in public schools, I'm a professor at UMSL, when my colleagues talk about social emotional learning, typically they're talking about things that you might consider character, right? They're talking about being respectful and kind and civil and these sorts of things. The problem is some people also use that term to describe very far left ideologies like sex positivity and these sorts of things. But when the right sees this, they say that's SEL. And so we started talking about using the same word to describe very different things. And I do want to say, I think DESE was trying to push forward what you and I would call character, right? Good character. I had 2 problems with it, 2 major problems. One, they didn't have the authority to do so. And 2, the logic behind creating state standards for what schools are already doing and thinking it's going to work is ridiculous. But the real issue here, the State Board of Education voted these standards down, didn't adopt them, because the public outcry was against them. About half the people that responded to DESE didn't support these standards. And when you can't get half of people to support something like respect, what that tells me is people don't trust DESE right now, and that's a problem.
It's funny how the education system has changed and the kids have changed. I remember when I was young, I don't know, third grade, maybe second grade, third grade. And I was at the supermarket with my mother, and I saw my teacher at the school. And I was like, oh my God, I thought she like lives at the school and sleeps at the school. But that's kind of the respect, you know? And also, to this day, okay, there are a couple of teachers that I've had in high school that are on Facebook, like Mr. Batone. You know, I have to call him Mr. Batone. I would never call him Pat. That's disrespectful. I think it all fits into kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, schools have changed, families have changed. The real way to address this issue isn't by creating standards at the state. It's about parents and kids and schools, teachers, leaders, building relationships, right? It's about the culture that we set at the local school where we establish just what you're talking about, that sort of respectful relationship where you have a trust in your teacher, your parents trust your teacher. And so that relationship allows for a positive school environment to happen. It allows for us to teach things like respect and kindness and all those things. The problem with DESE trying to push this through at the state level, these sort of standards, is they didn't build relationships. They don't have the trust of the people. And so you see people, they're wondering, they're worrying, what is DESE actually trying to do? What are they trying to push into my kid's school? And they're concerned and they're critical about it because that relationship's not there. When you can walk to the, go to the department store or the grocery store, like you said, and see your teacher and you have that connection, you can build that trust. We don't have that trust with people in Jefferson City.
I agree. And you know what? It's little things too sometimes. A puzzle, right? If you put a puzzle together, there's many, many little pieces, and you have to find every piece and where it goes. I don't know where the Pledge of Allegiance fits into all of this, but boy, you talk about respect. Let's start the day with respecting the flag and respecting the country. I mean, I'm sure you heard we do the Pledge of Allegiance every morning here on the show before we get going, and we think it's a positive, respectful thing to do. But even something as little as making sure the kids do the Pledge of Allegiance every day instills that respect, I think, that you're talking about.
I wasn't sure if I was supposed to stand or not. I was kind of confused here. I worried for your drivers that are listening to it on the way in.
They can drive with one hand on their heart, one hand on the wheel. It's fine.
And by the way, the next time we get you on, you have to do that for us.
That was our mistake.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've heard teachers say things like, I don't even tell my students to stand, or I don't even try to encourage it in my classroom. And the truth of the matter is, we have exemptions where people can opt out of doing it. But what does it say when our teachers don't value the pledge? They don't believe we should teach patriotism, that we should teach love for our country. If you look at polls, many teachers don't believe those sorts of things.
Wow.
And so that's problematic. And this has been partly why I'm a huge proponent of school choice. Is you have to be able to trust your kid's school to teach the things that you want them to teach the values that you want. And that when we allow people to choose, we allow them to get into schools that have that alignment. And it fosters, in my opinion, the teaching of character, of respect, of kindness, of civility, all those sorts of things. But when I don't trust my educators, that's problematic because I'm no longer building a relationship and a partnership with them. I'm keeping them under a watchful eye. And that's not what we need. We need schools that parents and teachers are working together. And that's hard to do if you don't trust one another.
If kids in elementary school are too young to be taught or even have sex talked about, and I think that's the start of the crumbling. Just teach them math. Teach them how to carry the one, for God's sakes.
Yes. Focus on academics. We're actually working on a poll right now from Missourians. Hasn't been released yet at the Show Me Institute, but it will be in the next couple of months. And one of the questions we asked was about the primary purpose of education. Overwhelmingly, people said academics. People want their schools to focus on academics. But the truth is, you do want your kid's school to focus on, like, all the stuff we've been talking about, the character. You want them, but you want that when you're in alignment, right? When you trust the school. Like, two of my kids go to a private school called Lafayette Academy. Love the school. They focus on virtues. They focus on temperance and prudence and fortitude and justice, like these cardinal virtues. I'm all for it, right? Now, I've had kids in public school as well, and they don't explicitly state the values that they have, and I'm always wondering and questioning what it is that they're teaching my kids. That's problematic. We want academics, of course, focus on academics, but we also want to trust our kids to be able to teach them the values that we hold dear and not have to worry that they're teaching them some of this crazy stuff that you're mentioning here.
You know, we talked to Corey DeAngelis a couple of times. We had him in the studio once. And before I talked to him, Ken, I had never heard of the concept of micro schools before he brought it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But micro schools, you know, you find a lady in the neighborhood who's pretty smart and you know, works from home or doesn't work, and send all the kids to her house and let her teach the kids. But at least you know what's going on, you know. And I think that's catching on, the micro schools.
Yeah, absolutely. In Florida and other places where they have funding models that allow it, it's really taken off. I mean, you look at how much we're spending per pupil in the state. You've got about $15,000 per kid is what we're spending in operating expenses, right? If that was then allowed to transfer, even if say 10,000 was allowed to follow the kid, you get 4 or 5 kids together, you've got a $40,000 or $50,000 payment to, you know, establish someone having a micro school. There's all sorts of imaginative, creative things going on. We don't have to keep doing schooling in exactly the same way we've been doing it, where we, draw boundaries around and force everyone to go to the local public school because they can't afford anything else. We can do all kinds of creative things like they're doing in Florida and Arizona and other places where they're passing these school choice programs. Missouri's a bit behind the ball when it comes to that.
You know, the Show Me Institute, we're talking to Dr. James Shuls, who is the director of research at Show Me Institute. We've talked many times, and I can't think of the name of it, on the Show Me Institute, the school grading system where you grade all the schools. It's such a great tool for parents to see how each school system is ranked and how much they're spending on each kid, salaries. I mean, everything about your kid's school is right there.
Yeah, mostschoolrankings.org. It's a great site. And I'll tell you, part of the reason that site exists is because DESE wasn't doing their job. We tried to look for the information on DESE's website, couldn't find it, said, we know parents can't find this. Let's put it in a place where people can get the information. We do a little bit of analysis on the grading, on the rankings, but all the data is there. So if anyone wants to dig into our data, I had a critic of mine not long ago on Facebook disagree with me on some financing, and I linked to that, and then they started using the website to pull information. I'm like, great.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter which side you're on, what you believe. We're providing a service to people to look at the information and see what's going on, and you can really break it down in all kinds of amazing ways. Mostschoolrankings.org.
Love it. So I'm sorry, can I get back to the flag for just a second?
Yeah. Because
the American flag has always been something, you know, when I look at the flag, it means something to me. I mean, is that still a thing anymore with people when you look at the flag? And Ken will vouch for me here. I have a pet peeve about the flag. You got to display it right. You know, when people put the stars on the wrong side, when they hang it vertically, it makes me itch, you know? So that respect for the flag, I think, is something that has to start at home, though, don't you think?
Well, you remind me of that. Is it a Johnny Cash song, this old battered flag or something along those lines? There's that small town with the tattered flag hanging up that really stands and means for something. And I think I see it the same way that you do, that flag means something. It means something important and good and honorable. And the problem is, you know, I teach an American history course at the university. And we wrestle with a lot of the troubling past we've had in this country. Yeah, we've had slavery, we've had racism, all sorts of things. But the enduring truth is that the founding principles of this nation are good. Liberty and justice for all is good. That's something we could stand for. That's something we could celebrate. So I'm with you. I have a deep respect for this country and our flag, and I do think we've lost that in many places. And this, again, I'm going to keep bringing it back to this idea. When you don't trust your kid's school to teach something like this, which you and I think is foundational and basic, that is problematic. That's not good for the way our schools are going. We have to be able to trust them to teach kids basic things like love of country and love of the flag.
And James, I think the talking about the discussion about education in the school system is very critically important. But Vic brought up a great thing about parents. I think it all starts with the parenting.
Yeah, this is what I hear from educators as well. They say, but you don't understand, we're not getting the support from home. Right. That's true. There are many households that don't view this the same way you and I do. There are many parents who aren't doing the work that they need to do to raise their kids. That's true. I have very little authority, very little power to try to change parents. I could use my this bully pulpit or whatever to try to encourage people.
Yeah.
But where do we have some ability as a society? And that's, I think, in our education system and how we try to go about educating kids as a society. And this is where I try to focus my attention. I can't change all the families, but I can try to change how we structure our schools. And I think it's important to focus on just what we've been talking about here, giving parents options, letting them find the schools that are teaching the values that they agree with. And I think that's what works best in a pluralistic society like we have.
Let's close it out with, I just want to describe an editorial cartoon for you. I love editorial cartoons. And it's a classroom. The kids are standing up for the Pledge of Allegiance. One kid won't stand up. And the teacher says, Kevin, it's your right not to stand for the pledge, but let me introduce you to someone who can't stand because he was defending your right not to stand. The kid's a soldier who's in a wheelchair, has no legs. So
yeah,
that's how I'd like to end the interview with you. Dr. James Shuls, Director of Research at the Show Me Institute. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, sir. Let's do it again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Dr. James Shuls.
And that's moschoolrankings.org.
And that is such a great tool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
God, it's so easy to navigate. If I can navigate it,
and if I can,
anybody can
That's
navigate
right.
it. All right, Wheel of Audio Clips, of course, at 10:41 today. My favorite Michael Jackson song taking us to break. Deputy Managing Editor of RedState.com, Susie Moore, 10:05. Missouri Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft at 9:41. And coming up next, Mr. Connor's Neighborhood, lock and load, ready on the right on 1019 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
It's Friday. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
What am I doing here?
The president has been very clear. He's been crystal clear on this.
On News Talk STL.
I really like all the things you're saying.
News, analysis, opinion.
Thank you very, very much.
News Talk STL.
This is the perfect time to upgrade your home. Mike Ferguson here from my friends at Window World. Their number is 314-993-1800. Improve your home with Window World's double-strength glass windows. Those come with a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. 314-993-1800. Get a free in-home estimate. Window World is the preferred window of the St. Louis Blues. 314-993-1800 or windowworld.com.
The ultimate tribute to the Beatles brings you their best show ever. The Fab Four live. The Fab Four performs the Beatles' Rubber Soul in its entirety, plus all the Beatles' greatest hits. Don't miss the show for the whole family. Witness the best Beatles show in the world. This Saturday night, the Family Arena. Reserve seats on sale now at Ticketmaster.
His legendary soulful voice is unmistakable. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee Al Green returns to the concert stage. A night of iconic hits from the 13-time Grammy Award winner Al Green with special guest Betty LaVette. Saturday, November 25th at the Family Arena. Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena and Ticketmaster.
Hi, it's Todd Showalter from The Right Mind Show. Don't let going to the office become a grind unless it's a gourmet grind from DiscountCoffee.com. Enjoy coffee house blends that can't be found in stores. And don't be fooled by coffee services that lock you into paying more over time. DiscountCoffee.com has the very same coffee brands and supplies for less shipped directly to your door. Plus, save 15% off your order with the promo code RightMind. That's DiscountCoffee.com.
Tony Colombo here with a great offer from Zero Res. Just mentioned the Colombo special when you book a cleaning in October, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129 plus $50 off an air duct cleaning. We've trusted Zero Res with our home for years, and 5,000 Google reviews with an average of 4.9 out of 5 says it all. Zero Res is the best when it comes to cleaning any surface in your home. Just remember to mention the Colombo special when you call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Live and local.
Welcome home. And whoosh, sitting in traffic, stuck in a jam, and being entertained by Vic and Thunder Stealing Ken.
This is News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Everything woke turns to shit, okay? Now look here. I don't like that kind of talk. Now just stop it. It upsets me.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
He could do it in his sleep, Ken Williams. He could do this in his sleep. Sure, hit all those posts, man. Unbelievable. All right, listen, before we go any further, I apologize. It's late. Third or fourth sip. It's supposed to be the first sip. I'm late. Brought to you by Discount Coffee. For your favorite coffee delivered right to your home or office. Plus, you can get 25% off your first order by using promo code TRUMP.
DiscountCoffee.com.
Yeah, baby. Go there and get your coffee delivered right to your home or office. All right, let's wander in, baby. Let's do it.
St. Louis. It's Mr. Connor's neighborhood.
It is. Good morning, Mr. Connors.
Good morning, sir. And good morning, Thunder Stealing Ken. Once
Good
again,
morning, Mr.
controlling the
Connors.
program. The whole program is built around what you do and make everything happen. And you kind of carry the other guy along. What's his name?
Well, thank you, sir.
Excuse me.
What?
I'm over here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
God almighty.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Vic Porcelli Show.
That guy,
With Ken the Thunder Stealer. Go ahead.
that guy that you're referencing there in that promo,
Uh-huh.
he also says, and whoosh.
Yeah, I know.
Ken has created a new word
I know.
in
I
the St.
know.
Louis vernacular
I
people
know.
use all the time.
I know.
Somebody should make a documentary called Whoosh,
Whoosh,
That's
my
a great
brother
idea.
and sisters.
and they could have the
Yeah,
narrator.
Ken's extremely creative. It shows every day.
Yeah, oh man,
Thank
I
you,
love it.
sir.
Love
I
working
mean
with him. All right, so last night Joe Biden mumbled to the nation.
Whoosh.
Whoosh, my brother. And before we get to him, Larry, again, I like to get into your career because you've done it for so long. Addresses from the Oval Office that you've seen in your career. Any standout?
Well, Lincoln never used the word whoosh. I can tell you that.
No, excuse me. I think he did.
Oh, well, then you might know because you might be old enough.
Look deeper into that Gettysburg Address. You'll see it in the third paragraph. He says, whoosh.
I think somebody struck it. I think Corinne Jean-Pierre was hanging around at the same time.
God.
You know what? There are a lot of presidential addresses I can look back on, and obviously one of my favorites is always going to be Reagan.
Yep.
On anything he's saying.
Me too.
Bush made a very, and I'm not talking about the Oval Office. Well, it was for the Oval Office after 9/11. Powerful statement.
Yep.
I gave credence to Biden the other day about the Hamas attack. The only thing, he was too late, and but I praised him for it. And then what he said while in Israel, I have to give him credit for that. And finally going, but again, it's too late. And now they're going to try to shove all this concern back into money plans that would include more money for Ukraine. We need to break it out. I don't want more money going to Ukraine. Give them some weapons if we need to, but quit spending money on Ukraine other than what we can document. But Israel needs everything right now.
No, I was just going to say, I recently heard that up here in St. Louis at Jana Elementary School, they're having problems with the land, and Josh Hawley's trying to get $400 million for these people there that are continuing to die in North County. I mean, they're the creek. I can't remember Coldwater Creek. Coldwater Creek.
Yeah.
And they need $400 million to get this thing cleaned up for good, fully. Yeah. $400 million. That sounds like a lot of money, but they just gave $6 billion to Iran.
Yeah, and the people of Maui got a lot less than, and that's a U.S. state, obviously. Coldwater Creek has been around since the 70s when I came into the market. One of the first stories I covered, and it's still there. They've had all this time. So we've had several presidents, and legislatures and congressional members dropped the ball on that.
So presidential addresses, you know, when you see the president speaking, sitting at the desk in the Oval Office, you know something's up, right?
Used to be.
They just don't say, hi, how you doing?
Yeah, right.
From the Oval Office desk. And you bring up Reagan, and I bring it up all the time, maybe too much, when he addressed us after the Challenger explosion.
Right. That was another powerful moment.
And the way he said it, they left the surly bonds of earth to touch the face of God.
Yes.
I could never write something that good in my entire life.
Well, he had a great staff of writers around him, and they were really good. Pat Buchanan was in the group, and others as well. But I mean, they knew how to turn a phrase, and he knew how to deliver it. I'm not talking because of his acting ability, but he was sincere, truly sincere. You know, in this business, especially for news anchors, I joke around when I was training some, said, our reporter said, if you can fake sincerity, you've got it. But he doesn't fake it. He was always sincere.
And when he wanted to be funny, he wanted to be
funny. Oh,
yeah.
I will not bring up my opponent's age as a detriment.
Love that. Love that. My favorite one was at the Republican National Convention when he said, when he was talking about Congress, he said, I'd say they spend like drunken sailors, but that wouldn't be fair to the sailors because the sailors are spending their own money.
That's true. That is a big point.
But anyway, so last night, and I'm sorry, I just can't take this president seriously. So maybe I go overboard sometimes. Last night I put on Twitter, what's the over-under on how many times he'll repeat himself, right? He'll always say, in America, right? And it was 8. He repeated himself 8 times in 15 minutes. A good leader and a good speaker never has to repeat himself. Am I right?
I agree. There is a philosophy that you tell them what you're going to tell them, you tell them, and you tell them what you told them. But he's not following anything like that. It's just a lack of knowledge, and his people around him, they think if we just putting that word out there, we will look like we're embracing it when they are trying to destroy this country.
What about the lack of the truth?
Well,
I think that's part of it.
No, that's not part. No,
Emphasize.
No, you can't blame him for not telling the truth. Come on.
No.
That's second nature. Right. That's like the scorpion. I do it because that's what I do.
The snake. He's talking about the snake poem.
Yep.
That Trump always tells.
Yeah.
I always talk about that snake poem, and that's what they all are. They go, yeah, come on, I'll take care of you.
Yeah.
Come on in.
Well, you said you wouldn't.
And they bite me. I'm a snake. What do you think?
Well, the last time you said that, it reminded me when Hakeem Jeffries recently said, oh, come on, we need to come together and we need to elect a good Speaker of the House. Oh, I think.
Oh, yeah.
He's the snake. He's going to bite everybody as soon as he gets elected.
The same, and not again. I'm going to give Biden credit, and I get some flashback.
You're way more benevolent than I am.
I try to see, and I will accept both sides, but I will also call it the other side. He has yet to condemn members. He's thrown out the phrases. What they're saying is terrible or repugnant, but he's not calling them out directly and saying you have no business being in a Congress of this nation if you're going to support killing babies like Hamas did.
But he has no problem throwing up the word Islamophobia.
Oh no,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why would he go through that? There hasn't been any really that one guy who stabbed the kid,
and that's a shame. Yeah.
It is a shame. It's terrible.
Terrible, yeah.
But I don't think it's a rampant, widespread problem as this terrorism is.
The other thing is, I assume all the networks are carrying him. Last night I was switching through, but what had happened to Trump as he went through his presidency? He had announced him, we're going to hold a major speech. They wouldn't even bother covering it.
Right.
They wouldn't even put it on. What used to be, you're right, when the president's speaking to the nation, everybody goes to it.
It was a big
May
deal.
not stay there for long, but at least see where it's going.
You're right. They sometimes they wouldn't even put President Trump on.
No, they wouldn't.
When he was talking. And of course, everybody has to have Joe Biden on. So I don't think this speech was successful. I don't think it was good. Because there was no reason, Larry, I'm sorry, no reason to bring up Ukraine with what Israel's doing.
That's my point. Focus on the central issue, which is Israel. But everything now has to have Ukraine tied to it. We need to break them out of the bills. We need to break them out of speeches. We've given a lot to Ukraine. We have a lot of Americans suffering. If you took 1/10 of what we've given Ukraine and spent on this nation, how much better would our people
How many veterans wouldn't be living in the street?
Anybody, if you want to make it available.
I listened to the speech last night and I couldn't understand. I thought that the president was for the American people. And I gathered that it's for the world. It's for Ukraine. It's for everybody else except for the American people.
He's not wrong.
No, I agree. I mean, and that's why I've always been upset when people would complain that Trump's a nationalist. I expect him to be a nationalist.
Yeah.
I mean, French Macron, he's a nationalist. Trudeau is a nationalist. All of them are nationalists for their country. That's the way they should be. But in this case, you're elected to defend this country from all enemies, foreign and domestic, and you got a damn open door. And now after this terrorist attack, you think they would say we should shut it? They're still not doing it.
Ken opened my eyes to this a while back, that Biden and the left, they don't talk about us. They don't talk about the nation. Trump was America first. They're more concerned with the world, like Ken said, than America first. And America first, they made it sound radical.
Dirty.
But it just, they made it sound dirty. It's just logical.
Well, dirty is exactly what Yellen was the other day, talking about the economy and everything. And he said, and we've got to work with China to clean up the energy. Oh, but they have no interest in cleaning up your energy. They have interest in cleaning you.
So funny.
And Ken is on target as always.
always on target. All right, Mr. Connors, Larry Connors, USA tonight, 6 to 8 o'clock commentary. You've added a commentary.
You know what? And I appreciate you bringing that up. The response has been so good. More sponsors wanting to be connected to it. We now are airing at 7:30, and then again around 12:03 and 3:30.
Fantastic.
And it's I'm going to give you guys a lot of credit too for making sure other parts of the audience that don't listen later have a chance to hear.
You bet.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for coming in.
Our pleasure, Larry.
Mr. Connors' Neighborhood.
Mr. Connors' Neighborhood on the Vic Porcelli Show.
Larry Connors is one of those guys, when he starts talking and you pull into your driveway, you can't get out of the car because he's got you hooked into the story. And I just sit there on my driveway, and my neighbors are like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
I'm listening to Connors.
You know.
Wheel of audio clips at 10:41 today. Susie Moore at 10:05. And coming up next, Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft. Get our podcast, okay? Go wherever you find podcasts. Download it. It'll go right to your phone, and maybe it'll even say whoosh to you.
Whoosh.
On 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Most Americans are a $400 unexpected expense away from bankruptcy.
That's Bidenomics in action.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. Columbo and Katie.
There have been major developments regarding Speaker of the House and the war in the Middle East. We'll have all the latest details Friday when we're joined by Gabe Pfeiffer plus Steve Templeton with the weekend forecast at 2:45.
Weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Hey guys, Columbo here, reminding you that if you belong to an organization like a school or a church, or your kids are part of a group or a sports team that needs to raise money, there's no better way to do so than with a TJ's Pizza fundraiser. TJ's Pizza has been helping local organizations raise money for over 30 years to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. A local company helping local people, and there's lots of different ways TJ's can help you raise big money fast. Get started now at tjspizza.com.
I have only one recommendation for you when it comes to jewelry. Vincent's Jewelers. I've had Vincent's custom make some pieces for me. I bought quality pieces right out of the case. Vincent's locally owned, supporting local charities for more than 42 years. Check their website daily for new items or specials. VincentsJewelers.com. VincentsJewelers.com. Give Vincent's a chance for your business. Vincent's, my only jeweler.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss as part of our lineup every week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 3 times every weekend on News Talk STL. And in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
The Herzog Foundation is the vision of its founder, Stanley Herzog, and it exists to promote and accelerate the development of quality Christ-centered K-12 education.
Hi, this is Daryl Jones, president of the Herzog Foundation. We have an exciting new training opportunity available for public school and Christian school teachers. The Herzog Foundation Institute has partnered with the Bill of Rights Institute to offer 4 training events in 4 Missouri cities this year. These day-long professional development opportunities are best suited for middle and high school civics, government, U.S. history, and social studies teachers. Middle and high school teachers have a unique opportunity to strengthen civic knowledge and values for the next generation. We want to help teachers seize this opportunity.
Visit herzogfoundation.com/events to learn more and register for a Bill of Rights Institute training event near you. herzogfoundation.com/events. herzogfoundation.com/events.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019.
I'm Newt Gingrich, and you're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show on News Talk STL.
President Biden, not all of America's with you on this one. And you need to wake up and understand that. We are literally watching people commit genocide and killing a vast majority just like this. And we still stand by and say nothing. We will remember this. But all of you need to know, I swear to God, Allah, you are on the right side of history. You are. You're doing everything possible to save lives. What is wrong with that? Stop it with trying to politicize this. One goal, save lives. That's it.
Wouldn't it be great if she were that passionate about Americans?
Yeah.
About true Americans than she is about terrorists? That is Representative Rashida Tlaib calling for a ceasefire now in Gaza, but she didn't call for any kind of ceasefire or no violence when Hamas was slaughtering Jews.
Walking into people's homes and killing whole families.
She didn't call for any kind of ceasefire on that.
Nope.
All right, let's get some sense into this show, shall we? Missouri Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft. Good morning, Mr. Secretary. How are you?
Good morning. You know, I'm doing well, and I'm reminded of what Golda Meir is supposed to have said, where she said there would be no peace in the Middle East until the Arabs learned to love their children more than they hated the Jews.
Wow.
I saw that the other day. Somebody put that exact quote up on Twitter, and I was like, that Golda, she knew what she was talking about.
Yeah.
And I bring this up all the time. I'm sorry, but I have to bring it up again since you brought up her name. There's a movie that Steven Spielberg made. The movie is called Munich, and it's about the Israeli commandos who went and found all of those Arab terrorists who killed the entire Israeli Olympic team at the 1972 games in Munich. It is something you got to watch to find the fighting spirit of that country. And I think it's an important movie. All right. So how are you today? You good?
I'm doing well. I am, but I am just appalled by the people that live in freedom in the United States that want to equate a country that is fighting for its survival with a group of people that kill and rape and maim and destroy because they don't want Jewish people to be able to live.
Yep.
This isn't about power or conquest. This is about evil and a pure hatred of individuals just because of who they are and trying to wipe them out of existence. And the fact that so many people think that there's some sort of moral equivalence between self-defense and pure hatred, it scares me.
So we just heard Rashida Tlaib, right? We heard her talk about in the past, getting rid of Israel. Israel's terrible, Allah, all that stuff. She's got the Palestinian flag outside her office. So we can't do anything to even censure her unless we get a Speaker of the House.
It's a cluster. Look, there's a part of me that loves the idea of government inaction because it means they're not making things worse. But this just seems to prove to me that regardless of what you think of Kevin McCarthy, former Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, it was personal. And our elected officials should not be up there to even up personal scores. They should be up there to move through conservative policies that increase opportunity for all of us to be the best that we can be. And clearly that's not what has been happening.
So they're going to try to vote again today. This thing, here's the thing about character. We just had Dr. Shuls on from the Show Me Institute talking about character. And Jim Jordan, he said, okay, then, I'll drop out. You guys don't want me, fine. I'll drop out, pick somebody else. He's not like, he wasn't fighting it like a little baby. You know what I mean? And Scalise dropped out. I mean, at least we're seeing character from those two guys.
The problem is too many people in Washington, D.C. think they should be a character instead of they should have.
You're going to see that quote on Twitter now. Jay Ashcroft. People are characters, don't have character. All right, I guess that's it. Oh, no, the insurrection. We got to talk about the insurrection that happened on October 18th, 2023. Where's the 1018 committee?
I assume that the Department of Justice is rapidly, without a warrant, pursuing all potential evidence and investigations. Again, what am I saying? They're doing nothing. If what happened before was an insurrection, this was an insurrection, and they have no desire to go after it. It is further proof that it's a politicalization of the, quote, Department of Justice. I need to say that in quotes from now on because it is not that. It's reprehensible. Our federal government's a mess. Never said that before, obviously.
So they have their J6 committee. We need an 018 committee for that big insurrection that happened.
We don't need a committee. We need a clean house. We need the people of this country to get involved in campaigns, to get involved in elections. Frankly, I mean, there are some good people in D.C., but if we have to throw everybody out and that's the only way we can clean it up, a good people like Senator Hawley, Senator Schmidt, Congressman Burleson, we could name more. I bet they'd be willing to do that if it meant it's a pigsty up there, and we just need to go to town on getting rid of people that aren't there to serve the people of this country.
Somebody's mother needs to walk into the house and say, "This house is a pigsty. Clean this up." Well, I'm pitching him and missing him. Your father available for next week? All right, so let's talk about Missouri a little week. Tell us about the changes regarding the caucus party system for the 2024 presidential election cycle in Missouri.
In the last several election cycles, people have been able to vote in the presidential preference primary. We had that, and then there would be caucuses to determine who would really be the nominee. Next year, we will just have the presidential caucus. We won't have that kind of intervening election that sounds like you're doing something, but you're not. Anyone who wants to be involved, and I would suggest everyone who's a Missouri resident, citizen of the United States, be involved. Reach out to your local central committee, be that if you're a Republican, which I assume you are if you're listening to this show, or maybe a Libertarian. If you're a Democrat, reach out to the local Democrat central committee in your county or in the city of St. Louis, the city of St. Louis. Those local party central committees will be having caucuses early next year. Reach out to them to find out how to get involved, how you can pre-register to make the process easier. Set aside a couple hours, if not several hours, on the upcoming caucus date in March to be able to cuss and discuss and convince other citizens about who you think should be the next presidential nominee from your party, and get involved. Our office is reaching out to all the parties that have ballot access, Libertarian, Republican, and Democratic parties in this state. We will be pushing out information, but we, the people, need to get involved.
When I first came here, This is kind of a double thing here. When I first moved here and I voted for the first time in the primary, it was when you had to declare whether you were a Democrat or Republican to vote in the primary. And the woman said, what do you want to declare? I was like, oh, Republican. She was like, really? I'm like, oh, good. No election interference there.
Well, in our primaries, Missouri is what I would classify as a quasi-closed or a partially closed primary. You don't have to declare a party and always vote for that party in a primary. But what you do have to declare when you go to vote is which ballot do you want? If there were an open primary, you could vote you could vote for some people in the Democrat primary, some people in the Republican primary, depending on how you want it. If it's a closed primary, they look at you and say, oh, you're registered as this. This is the ballot you get. In Missouri, you get to choose which ballot you get in the primary, but it will only have one party's candidates on it.
Right. All right, just a little bit of international stuff here. Do you worry, Mr. Secretary, about this buddy thing going on with President Xi of China and Vladimir Putin of Russia?
I do. Both of those countries, both of those leaders are what I would characterize as evil people. I mean, do not forget that Putin was part of the KGB, was a high-ranking officer in the KGB. Xi is an individual that will kill anyone that gets in his way. His regime has killed countless individuals. They re-educate if you don't believe what they are. They have minority groups that they imprison and use for slave labor. They are doing everything they can to destroy the authority and power that the United States has around the world. They are, contrary to our interests. And unfortunately, it appears that several people in China, the government, and other people around the world with large amounts of money have given tons of money to Joe Biden's family, and he seems to be acting in ways that help the people that have given that money instead of acting in ways that help the people of the United States.
Well said, sir. All right, just a bit of sports news to close it up. The city soccer team, man, they're really causing a stir. The first year in the MLS, they're in the playoffs, high ranked. What do you think?
I think it's wonderful. But, as a St. Louis sports fan, I want nothing less than them to win the championship. I want it all. I want to see them bring it home. Let's celebrate.
I'm happy for them. I mean, I'm not a soccer fan per se,
Yeah.
but, it's good to see the city have a team in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
my God. All right. And a final thing, Mr. Speaker, today is actually my son's actual birthday. So can you say happy birthday to him? His name is Chris.
Happy birthday. It's amazing that you and your son have the same birthday.
Isn't that
Happy
crazy?
Happy birthday, Chris.
Same birthday every day. And Nick Schroer, too. Throw him in there. Mr. Speaker.
Happy birthday, Nick.
Happy birthday. Thank you for your time, as always, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
All
Have a great day.
You too.
I love how he can just get into a fun mood.
Yeah.
At the very end. Boy, so much stuff there, Ken.
And we need that a lot.
We do. I mean, that's why this show exists, I think, to, maybe a little bit of comedy, a little bit of fun while we're talking about the very serious things to kind of ease the pain of what's going on.
Yeah, we still get intense. We still get very serious, and we talk about the issues that people want to hear. But at the same time, at the end of the day, we try to make people smile a little bit too as well.
So I think they're going to vote in the House in a little bit here, Ken, possibly before 11 o'clock.
Man. What do you think about that?
How about that?
When news breaks, you can be assured that Vic Porcelli has just signed off the air.
Yeah.
So when you need breaking news, you can count on News Talk STL. But after Vic signs off the air.
All right, we get it.
News Talk STL, your home for breaking news after 11 a.m. Sorry, Vic.
Okay, fine. Ken, can we say hi to everybody in the chat box
Let's
real
do
quick?
it, yeah.
Is that right that time?
Yes.
Holy cow, we better get moving here,
I
man.
know.
All right, Tom was in first. Good morning. Good Friday morning. Dana says, please ask your guest if there's been any follow-up to the kids having sex in the classroom in Hazelwood.
Yeah, that was actually a story.
Oh, my God. Good morning this sunny Friday. Feeling great because last night was an awesome show. BTO, Stan went to go see BTO last night.
Oh, man. I wish I could have made that.
Yeah, me too. Phil says, what time is Logan? Well, we're not going to talk to Logan. Just calm down there, Phil Valencia. But we're going to talk about her at 10.
But
40.
something we might talk about might lead to that, right? Or not?
Possibly.
Okay.
Let the cat out of the bag.
No, I'm not.
Quickly. Good morning, Vic, Ken, and everyone. That's from Linda. Jason says, should. He should push. Then for Jordan, him thinking it was personal alone makes no difference to me. That was minutes ago. My memory doesn't go back that far. Okay. Thank you for being here. It's our Friday, of course, and we have the Wheel of Audio Clips coming up at 10:41. We will talk about a great Laura Logan special that's on Twitter. And Susie Moore is up next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Hundreds of homeowners and businesses had or will have water main breaks. Wellington Environmental has a warning. You can clean up the water, but if you're not checking areas where the water leaked in the walls where you can't see it, you could end up exposing your family, your employees, your clients to hazardous mold. Wellington Environmental reminds you, if that mold is not detected, properly treated, removed, that is a risk, a liability you do not want. Wellington clients, including hospitals and schools, trust Wellington to make their environments safe. Call 314-644-4930, 644-4930. AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau, 314-644-4930. Wellington Environmental, your world, cleaner, better, safer. Be well with Wellington.
This Saturday night at 10 on Stories of New Americans.
October 23rd is the 40th anniversary of a cowardly, barbaric attack on our Marine base in Lebanon in 1983. We lost 241 heroes that day, including a cousin of mine, and so it's kind of personal for me. My cousin, First Lieutenant Scott Summerhoff, was among those who did not survive that attack. He's a hero.
Stories of New Americans, Saturday nights at 10 on News Talk STL.
As winter approaches and we keep our energy-efficient homes closed, we are exposed to many different chemicals, molds, dust, virus, and bacteria floating throughout the air. Hi, I'm Everett Jones, owner of Jones Air and Water. Since 1995, Jones Air and Water has helped many breathe better and reduce allergens in their home and business. Call Jones Air and Water at 636-899-1040 or visit joneswater.com for more info. You can be a filter or buy a filter. Jones Air and Water on the web at joneswater.com.
John Michael Montgomery. Live. The multiple Grammy, CMA, and ACM award winner. John Michael Montgomery with McBride and the Ride. Tonight at the Family Arena. Waiting on. Reserved seats are on sale now at the Carroll House box office, located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. John Michael Montgomery, live in concert.
Cause you're my special thing.
Ruben Studdard and Clay Aiken. 20, the tour. Reunited 2 decades after their storied run on American Idol. Ruben and Clay. Friday, October 27th at the Family Arena. Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office, located at the Family Arena or at Ticketmaster. Ruben Studdard and Clay Aiken.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green.
This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at
NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. President Biden asking Congress for a huge chunk of money, $105 billion. It would be for Israel and Ukraine, the Indo-Pacific region, to counter communist China, for humanitarian aid as well as the border.
The president told the nation in an Oval Office speech last night that he'll be sending an urgent funding request to Congress.
To fund America's national security needs, to support our critical partners, including Israel and Ukraine.
The proposal, which Mr. Biden called a smart investment, will be unveiled later today. Officials indicate the request will be for tens of billions of dollars. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Ohio Republican Congressman Jim Jordan, so far he's failed in his bid to become Speaker of the House, isn't giving up the quest.
There's been multiple rounds of votes for Speaker before. We all know that.
I just know that we need to get a speaker as soon as possible so we can get to work for the American people.
And Jordan remains hopeful that he will have that speaker's gavel, perhaps by the end of the day. Police in Maryland have identified a person of interest in the shooting death of a circuit court judge. 52-year-old Judge Andrew Wilkinson found in the driveway of his Hagerstown, Maryland home around 8 last night. He died at the hospital. The judge presided over the divorce case of the person of interest now being sought and identified by police as 49-year-old Pedro Argote. The Army private who fled across the DMZ into North Korea and then was later returned to the U.S. by the North Koreans faces desertion and child pornography charges. That's according to the AP, which says it got a look at the charging documents in the case. On Wall Street this morning, stocks are in the red. So far, right now, the Dow down 153 points, and the NASDAQ Composite Index is off 179. The S&P trading 40 points lower. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, and evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation and government handouts and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group, because physical precious metals are one of the few ways you can maintain control over your own savings. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word faith to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and you'll see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached. Text the word faith to 989898, and you're going to be blessed by taking action right now.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
This is a 5-star kind of day. The sunshine is back, a cool morning, but a high of around 72 this afternoon, just about as good as it gets this time of year. Tonight, clear, 54 for the overnight low. Sunshine Saturday, a little warmer too with a high of 75. Just keep an eye on the winds. They'll be a bit gusty out of the northwest. Saturday night, clear down to 46, and Sunday, mostly sunny, a little cooler, 66 for the afternoon high. Enjoy it. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Welcome home. Welcome back to another hour on 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. I'm Vic Porcelli. That is the one and only Ken Williams over there. Coming up this hour, we have the wheel of audio clips. I'm also going to direct you to a great series of shows on Twitter you can watch made by Lara Logan, which I watched some of last night. Fascinating and great. And we'll talk about that at 10:25. Right now, though, oh my goodness, Smoozy Q.
Oh, Susie Q, baby, I love you. Susie Q.
I'm the boss. How about that?
And I should have listened to Susie more from the beginning. Yes. Should have listened to Susie more from the beginning. Good morning, Susie Q. How are you?
Good morning, Vic. I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
All right. Let's start with what's happening right this second. They are debating and about to vote to elect a House Speaker, hopefully. What do you think about this whole thing? I mean, we can't do the first order of business should be censuring Rashida Tlaib for what she said. We can't do that without a speaker. If they don't elect a speaker, I don't know what to say about him. I don't know how to stick up for him.
Well, I kind of share your frustration and concern there. I mean, it's one of those things where I understand what some of the motivation was, and I'm not a big Kevin McCarthy fan, so don't mistake that.
Yeah.
But to now be floundering for 2 weeks and still not be any closer to replacing him, it just does not speak well of the Republicans. And while I have maintained that, a couple months from now, this will kind of all be in the rearview mirror and long forgotten, that was under the assumption that they would find a replacement sometime in relatively short order. If they continue on this way, they are going to not only hurt their entire party, but they're going to hurt their individual prospects. So the ones that are doing this because they have individual grievances may want to be rethinking that.
Yeah. I just find that people, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I've been watching this stuff for 2 years, Susie. You know what I mean? I am no expert whatsoever, but I watch this stuff and I'm not quite sure what's the end game for people who don't want to at least find a speaker and put he or she in place.
Well, I mean, the ones who don't want want the Republicans to find a speaker are primarily the Democrats. The Republicans who are dug in and refusing to coalesce around either Jim Jordan or Steve Scalise or whomever, I think their end game right now is basically retribution for what they feel as, that they were wronged. And I understand that impulse. I mean, I think we're all human. We understand that. And I think some of the things that were probably said and done behind the scenes are understandably grounds for major resentment. But I think there's a group of people, maybe 20 or 30, who are not able to step outside themselves long enough to say, okay, wait, right now, my personal beliefs, my personal stances, all this thing needs to kind of be, subjugated to doing what's best for the body as a whole and for the country as a whole. Right now, we need Republican leadership, and all we have is Republican just goofiness.
Yeah, and
Totally agree with that.
Plus the ramifications here. What if Hakeem Jeffries got enough votes and he becomes the Speaker of the House? Do they want that?
Yeah, we're perilously close right now because there's only 427 voting members today, which means the magic number is 214, and I think the Dems have 211 or 212.
Oh my God! If Hakeem Jeffries becomes the Speaker of the House, Ken and I are moving to Belize. We can do the show from Belize.
Oh,
can't
we can, yeah. These days,
sure.
Sure.
Okay, so
well, I mean, if he becomes the Speaker of the House, the Republicans can kiss the majority goodbye next time around. People are just going to say that's enough. We gave you the reins. We asked you to lead, and you're just a bunch of idiots.
Yep. No, you're right.
You're right. All right. So I was pulling onto the street that's right before my street. I was going home yesterday. I'm up Sulphur Spring. I make a right on Cardinal, and this car coming the other way had those flags that you can like hang on your window.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a Palestinian flag.
Mm-hmm.
And I let it go. In my older, younger, wilder days, I would have stopped and said, "What the hell are you doing?" But I didn't. First Amendment and all that stuff. But to see people get wrangled into this without really knowing what's going on, because on Red State right now, there's a great story. I believe it's a Banshee story. It sure is, because Greta Thunberg, right, had a tweet up that she had to delete. She's with 3 other people. One has a sign that says Free Palestine. Another one says Climate Justice Now with Palestinian flags. Well, I don't know if that has to do with it. Another one says This Jew Stands with Palestine. And then Greta Thunberg says Stand with Gaza. What is she, an idiot?
How dare you?
Okay, Greta, just relax. But and then she had to delete the tweet. But she's caught up in this too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of people. I mean, there are people that are true believers in the Palestinian cause and who kind of ally themselves even with Hamas, and that's a whole separate issue. But there are a lot of people who I think are caught up in this idea of activism and pacifism, and they believe they're they're supporting a just cause. They believe they're on the right side of this, but either they are misinformed or not fully informed, or just going along with what seems to be popular and trendy right now. And the thing I don't think that they've taken into account is the vast majority of people may be willing to tolerate, okay, let's support BLM to an extent, let's support the transgender movement to an extent. But when you're talking about people who are calling for the annihilation of Israel, that's a hard stop for most Americans.
And I love your take. There's no two sides of this story.
No.
Mm-hmm. No, not on this one. I mean, you can have empathy for people who are caught in the middle of this, who are innocent. And I do. I mean, I don't want to see anybody suffer needlessly. But as far as who on the side of between Israel and Hamas, there is no two sides.
You're right. All right, let's switch gears. Biden's address last night. Before the address, I put up on Twitter, what's the over-under on how many times he's going to repeat a line? You know how he always repeats a line, you know, for America, because that is either somebody who is not confident in what they're saying or straight out lying. So they have to pound it a little further.
Yeah.
Right. So he did that 8 times, by the way. In 15 minutes, he repeated himself 8 times. I counted as the address was going on. Now, wouldn't you think, Susie Moore, that this address should have been 100% Israel and our support for Israel? Do you think we need to hear about Ukraine during that address?
Yeah, I think that was a terrible, terrible miscalculation and a terrible look. I mean, I'm not saying that what's going on in Ukraine isn't important and it isn't something that needs to be addressed, but not in this context. This right now is about the fact that Israel is going to be having to fight for its very existence, and that we may very well be sucked into the middle of it, whether we want to be or not. And, it's taking the eye off the ball. It's giving mixed messages, and it's telling us, his priorities are still wrapped up in this strange morass of sort of unending Ukrainian financial support, which, again, don't get me wrong, I think we should support them in their fight against Russia. But I think it's fair to ask questions as to what that entails and how that's being used.
Susie, what are your thoughts on the further request of Biden to get $101 billion for Ukraine and for Israel? And yet we have people up here at Coldwater Creek needing $400 million. They're not getting it. And then people in Maui who aren't getting their money.
And veterans living in the street.
I think it goes back to his priorities. Right now, there is a segment of Washington, D.C. that, whether it's because they're corrupt and compromised or because they're just looking in the wrong direction, they are so wrapped up in giving everything in the kitchen sink to Ukraine that they are prioritizing that over other things. And it's, the saying about being able to walk and chew gum. We should be able to support multiple causes, but the priorities that they're emphasizing, I mean, it makes me stop and wonder what exactly is going on here. Like, I get that Ukraine is important. Why is it so much more important than everything else? What's the real story?
Yes.
And why wasn't Crimea important? Why didn't people have the Crimea flag on their profile on Twitter?
That's a fair question. It probably had to do with, the times. And of course, at that point, President Obama was in the White House, and that wasn't what his focus or his emphasis was, nor was it the media's emphasis. So people didn't take their cues and hop on the bandwagon.
Yep. I'm not saying anything. I'm just pointing out some facts. Obama was president, and Putin invaded Crimea and took it. Trump was president. Putin behaved. Now Trump's not in office, and Putin's at it again. I'm just stating facts.
The whole world's on fire now.
It is on fire. All right. So this one just baffles me beyond belief. Biden met with special forces. They take a picture of it and they put it on social media. And now everybody basically doxing, right? These special forces units. I mean, do they know anything about anything? I swear to God, it just gets stupider by the minute.
Well, it does. And I think that this goes back to that whole, the idea that, now the adults are in charge. Well, no, the adults aren't in charge. There are children in charge now. There are people who are young and inexperienced. I mean, I'm assuming that the person who did this was young just because of it being on social media. I could be wrong. Maybe it's, somebody like me.
I think you're
Maybe
right.
It's somebody with gray hair. But it's somebody who wasn't well trained in the ways and the importance of keeping these things discreet. And it's just sloppiness. And we're seeing it all over. And it's not just, this administration. We've been seeing it for years, this sort of like rising level of incompetence. We've kind of lost our ability to train people properly in the ways of protocol, in what's smart and what's proper and what's safe for our troops. This is ridiculous.
And you brought up a phrase I want to just talk about for a minute. You said that they said the adults are in the room, right? That was one of those narratives that the Democrats used, and you got to admit they're great at taking a narrative
messaging,
and passing it around the messaging, right, Ken? Passing it around the party and making sure they all say that phrase. The adults are in the room, and now they don't take accountability for saying that and acting like children. So I agree with what you said, but if you have any more comments on that, otherwise we'll move on.
Well, yeah. I mean, I just think it underscores the fact that's just a false-based lie.
And
they're not handling things any better.
Yeah. All right. So Jennifer Van Laar, the more I read her, the more I love her. And her headline right now is it's time for the GOP holdouts to stop blaming Matt Gaetz for the chaos and elect a speaker. I could not agree with that statement more.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it too. You can think whatever you want about Gaetz, and you can hold your grudge or whatever, but that shouldn't take precedence right now. I'm glad that you love her. She is our managing editor. She is my boss. She is the reason that Red State has the viewership or readership that it does. And when she is able to not just worry about managing us crazy kids, she is able to do some fantastic writing and investigative reporting. So anybody who's not following her they're dumb.
Yep. And you're missing out. Ask her to come on with us. You want to talk to Jennifer Van Laar?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's see. You got any poll there with us? Or
Oh,
what?
yeah. She absolutely. Do I have any poll? Yeah. Yeah, I do.
All right. Also, Rashida Tlaib. The first words I ever heard her speak was when she got elected, and she said, we're going to go in there and we're going to impeach the mother. And I was like, that's nice language for somebody that's going into the House. And that was the whole process was Donald Trump is awful. Orange man bad. Let's get rid of him. And now she's on the Palestinian Hamas bandwagon. And I'll say it again, we can't censure her unless we get a Speaker of the House.
Yeah, I mean, of all the things that we need the House to be doing, that's important, but it's not priority number one, but it does need to be addressed. And the thing of it is, she's Palestinian. That's her heritage. I don't fault her for empathizing with the Palestinian plight. I do fault her for taking the side of Hamas. I do fault her for spreading lies far and wide and refusing to take them back. And she's a big part, along with some of the mainstream media, in what's caused so much of the unrest the past couple of days.
Yeah, no kidding. So I'm going to tell you something I told a few guests this week, and I'm sure some people who are going to hear it, who are regular listeners, like, oh God, Vic's telling this story again. But I think it's important, okay? When she had the Palestinian flag hanging outside her office, Steny Hoyer came to her defense, and he said, well, she's Palestinian, she's not a terrorist, it doesn't mean she's a terrorist. And I'm saying that doesn't mean that she's not a terrorist. Let me tell you why I say that. Nidal Hassan was a major in the U.S. Army at Fort Hood, and he went wild and Allah Akbar a whole bunch of soldiers at Fort Hood. So my point is, he made it all the way to the rank of major with this attack in mind. Who's to say she's not? I'm not saying she is. I'm just not saying she's not.
Well, I agree. There's no saying one way or the other just because she happens to hang a certain flag. And that's the whole point where Hoyer is missing the boat, too.
Right.
I mean, if she's a terrorist, obviously that's an issue that needs to be addressed. But, whether or not she has the right to fly a flag that represents her heritage is one thing. Whether or not she should be doing it, particularly in the current context and in the current, circumstances we're all finding ourselves, that's a different issue too. But why did he immediately go to whether or not she's a terrorist? Was somebody saying that her flying the flag meant she was a terrorist, or were they just saying that it was really bad?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a great point. And Susie, if you actually look at her door, this flag is on a big pole. It's giant. It's right next to her door. Then you have the LGBTQ1 flag, I guess, and then the other flag, the light blue, light pink flag. Then you have, I think, her state flag, possibly, but you see nowhere the American flag in there.
Is that right? Not one in front of her office?
I didn't see it at all. I looked.
Man. Susie?
Yeah. Well, and then she's also got the map inside her office that doesn't have Israel on it. So, I mean, that tells you where she stands.
Yeah.
See, this
Does it make her a terrorist? No, but it makes her a terrorist sympathizer, and I think people are rightly critical of her.
Did anybody think Nidal Hassan was a terrorist before he shot up the place? Right?
They would have laughed at you if you had said that before he did that.
Right. I don't know.
The bottom line is, she has the right to fly it but she's not right to fly it, and she deserves every bit of criticism.
No. Okay, I want to push back on that just a little bit, because here's what I was facing this on social media. People were saying, she has the right to do that. Okay, she does, and I am a full-time backer of the First Amendment all the way. Okay, she does have that right, but not as a leader and as a person who represents the American people.
Not to mention, she's so concerned about the Palestinian people and the people in Gaza and their right to exist, but they don't think Israel. What makes her think Israel and people who live in Israel, or Jews in general, have a right to live?
Well, I don't know that she's specifically said that, affirmed that she does believe that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know that she's come out lately, at least, and said, of course, Israel has the right to exist. Of course, Jews have the right to live. I think she's been hiding behind her pro-Palestinian rhetoric and not actually answering that question. And maybe that's something that somebody needs to put to her directly and put her on the spot.
I've seen video of them going to her and asking her that question and actually trying to get remarks from her in response to all the murders that were happening of the Israeli people. And she does not even say a word. Right. She keeps walking quickly down the hall, and she will not answer them.
Ken is pissed off.
Yeah, she was broken up over the babies that were reportedly killed in the blast near the hospital in Gaza, and she can't offer even a word of condolence or tear over the babies that have been killed and terrorized in Israel now.
And she automatically jumped on the Israel did this bandwagon, right, with the bombing of that hospital.
Oh yeah, well, she and unfortunately a large number of people did
mainstream media, everybody. Yes,
make me sick. All right,
I will tell you one. I'll tell you one outlet that didn't.
At redstate.com.
Nope.
Interesting coincidence.
Fact,
which I am a gold member of, by the way.
All right, stop showing off.
Thank you so much.
Oh, God.
So appreciate that.
Enough out of you two. Deputy Managing Editor of redstate.com, Susie Moore, Smoozy Q on Twitter, at redstate on Twitter. Susie, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend.
Right.
You too.
She words things sometimes so well.
She's a wordsmith.
She is. She should be an editor. Oh, wait.
She should be.
Yeah.
You know what? She should talk to Red State about that.
She should try to do that. I just hope she gets us Jennifer Van Laar.
I know.
Because I'm telling you, the more I read her, the more I'm realizing how conservative she is in our ballpark.
Oh, yeah.
On our
wheelhouse.
Ballpark. Yeah, on our wheelhouse. All right, the wheel of audio clips coming up at 10:41. And I'm going to point you in the direction of some pretty cool content that Lara Logan put up on Twitter.
Okay.
And I watched a couple of the episodes last night. Fascinating stuff. And we'll talk about that next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. The Vic Porcelli Show.
My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about? China.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
All right, let's talk about tough conversations that we have to have sometimes. And that is managing our current and future health as one of those things that we need to talk about, especially when it comes to long-term care, okay? And the cost of long-term care, costs in St. Louis right now for long-term care can be $60,000 to $70,000 or even up to $100,000 or more if it's in a facility. That can take a big chunk out of your savings. Well, Chris Cooper from Serenity Health Wealth Management is the guy you need to talk to, because he's the guy who has strong tax-efficient strategies to help you keep the money and the lifestyle that you desire while taking care of long-term care. And long-term care is not something that's on your schedule. I didn't write it on my schedule up on time for long-term care. It just hits you out of nowhere. So Chris Cooper is a guy who is, I call, a triple threat. He is a CPA. He is a wealth management specialist and also a long-term care specialist. He's got a book he'd like you to read. It's free. It's called A CPA's Guide to Tax-Free Strategies for Long-Term Care, and you can get it by visiting SerenityLTC.com. That's SerenityLTC.com. Serenity Now with Chris Cooper.
Investment advisory services offered through OWLLFI LLC, a SEC registered investment advisor. This is a paid endorsement. Insurance and education services offered through Serenity Wealth Management.
Serenity Now!
My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure for max strength daytime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. Dayquil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks Dayquil High Blood Pressure. The daytime, non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use as directed.
And Doug. With Liberty Mutual, you can customize and save hundreds on your car insurance. But what to buy with those savings? Yep, I bought a sound effects machine.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com. Savings may vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
1949, the last time a Republican held the top post in St. Louis City. A gallon of milk was 84 cents, and streetcars ran down Grand Avenue. The city was booming. Unfortunately, St. Louis City streets are no longer the epicenter of family and business life. In the 80 years of Democrat control, our city has been on a steady decline. St. Louis City Republicans believe it is our duty to provide a different path forward. Learn more at stlouisrepublicans.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican Pat Curtis, Farber Treasurer.
Listen anytime.
It happens
Anywhere.
anywhere.
Everywhere.
Every day continues to bring more news.
With the NewstalkSTL app. Keep St. Louis's home for conservative talk with you wherever you go. Download the NewstalkSTL app in the App Store or at newstalkstl.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
I'm gonna grab a bite to eat. You want like a sandwich or something?
What kind of sandwich ain't too fattening?
I have the sandwich.
On NewstalkSTL.
I know we have our divisions at home. We have to get past them. We can't let petty, partisan, angry politics get in the way of our responsibilities as a great nation. And I want to say this to you. You're all America. You're all America.
8 times he repeated himself last night like that. When he said all Americans, all Americans. If you're a great speaker, you don't need to repeat yourself. Your message is strong. They slipped the surly bonds of earth to touch the face of God. Did Ronald Reagan have to repeat any of that after he said it?
No.
None of it.
That's such a great point.
Because Reagan was a leader.
And it was powerful. That's the problem. The biggest problem that I had last night when I was watching him, he was so unconvincing. And we can maybe later play a clip from him that he was so unsure that it was actually him battling the teleprompter. And when you look at that internationally, Vic, that's not convincing to our enemies.
Yeah. And then the whole mixed messaging of Ukraine in there, I didn't think that needed to be said. All right. So Ken and I have been talking, with what's going on, Israel and Hamas, the war. I thought to myself, Lara Logan, who worked for CBS News, worked for Fox News for a while now. She's independent. And actually in her profile on Twitter, it says, "Nobody owns me," which I love.
Yeah.
Ken, I was actually watching during the Spring Awakening Caliphate in Egypt, I think. She was in the middle of a crowd of men. And as she's trying to do the report, they are sexually assaulting her right there on television. And I was like, my God, if I were this girl, I would run. I'd wait tables before I'd do that again,
Yeah.
But she didn't back down, She still does what she does.
Do you think that changed her?
Yeah, I do. I think it changed her to be more fierce and more relentless in her journalism and her reporting, her investigative reporting. I do. Is that what you meant?
Yeah. Do you? Yeah, because what I read, wasn't she raped and sodomized by those people?
That's what I'm saying. She was sexually assaulted. I didn't want to go there with those words, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just trying to be clear about what she went through.
Yeah, it was terrible. So she now is on her own. She's got a series of pieces of content that she has that you can watch. And I said to Ken, boy, wouldn't it be cool if we could have Lara Logan on the show?
Yeah.
And Ken said, yeah. So I don't know how this happened, but Lara Logan follows me on Twitter. Lucky break.
That's great. Yeah.
I mean, believe it or not, Britney Spears follows me on Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm one of the people that she follows on Twitter.
okay.
I don't know how that happened.
It's great.
It might have been a mistake. I don't know, but she follows, and Lara Logan follows me. So I don't know Twitter like Ken knows Twitter, but I said, you know what? Let me try to DM. What's that stand for?
Yeah, direct message.
Let me direct message her and see if she'll come on the show. So I direct messaged her,
and he comes into me this morning. He's like, yeah, I was talking to Lara Logan.
Ah!
I'm like, what?
Yep. So I just said, hi, Laura. Let me start by saying I'm a big fan of your work. Would you be able to join us on our show at conservative radio station News Talk STL? You're the expert on the region of the world that's in trouble right now, and we would love to get your take. Because, again, with what she went through there in Egypt and her reporting on all things Middle East, I thought she'd be absolutely perfect. So I forget how many hours later. I guess I could figure it out, couldn't I? 3.5 hours later, ding, I hear the ding. And I'm like, I wonder what that is. Oh, my God. Lara Logan got back to me.
Awesome.
I'm like, oh, my God. This is
Yeah,
great.
it's great.
So she said, thank you. At this time, I'm not booking any shows or interviews because we're filming the next episode of my J6 series. I have a small but committed team, and it is taking 20 hours daily, maybe in November, possibly.
That's great. Yeah.
So I said, that's great. I said, we'll reach out then. Thank you. I thought that was it. It was like we were like two little kids in high school going back and forth all night last night. I was like, is this really happening? So she sent me a link to Truth in Media. That's the @truth_in_media. And you know how Twitter, like life is in reverse chronological order? Because the things on top are the most recent.
Right.
So I watched them out of order, but there was one of the episodes was about these four guys who are the Brunson brothers. Transparency here, I'm not going to be the hipster. I had no idea who the Brunson brothers were. Have you ever heard of the Brunson brothers?
No.
Thank you. I'm so glad you said that. Four guys who play trumpet, and they played for Ronald Reagan. They played at the Super Bowl. They played on Jimmy Stewart's Christmas special.
I should have known about these people.
4 trumpet players, unbelievably good. They also are 100% Trump supporters.
Oh, good.
They all believe the 2020 election was rigged.
As we do.
As we do. I said that to Lara. I said, Ken and I we're MAGA-centric, I called it, and they actually sued Supreme Court members, justices, because they failed to uphold their oath to the Constitution to at least investigate what happened in the 2020 election.
When you told me that originally, that really hit home for me, because when they didn't take the time to at least say, we should investigate, we should at least find out, even if it's all false, let's look into it. They didn't even do that.
Right. They didn't. And you would think that would be part of the J6 investigation, right? Because if they're going to do something for Trump, now he's on trial for trying to overthrow the election. Or maybe if the election was not legitimate, maybe it needs to be overturned. Right?
Exactly.
So, so Ken and I, our take on it, the cardboard or whatever it was, the wood over the windows in Michigan.
It was cardboard.
The water main break in Georgia, which was not even a leaky faucet. I think somebody just turned it on and forgot to turn it off. Stopped the voting. And then who knows what happened there. And then in Pennsylvania, a truck delivers thousands, maybe tens of thousands of ballots.
Yeah.
And every single one said Joe Biden, not one ballot for Trump.
And I believe, if I remember correctly, that was the time when Trump lost by 13,000 votes at that time.
Yeah. And so not one vote for Trump, every single vote for Biden. Being a poker player, I rely on odds,
Yeah.
If somebody bets, my thinking, if I'm going to call the bet, I think about how much money is in the pot, what's my percentage of winning this hand, And that computes the odds of taking the pot.
Right.
And let me tell you, the odds of every single ballot being for Biden and not one for Trump defies just even the concept of odds.
Yeah.
So she's got this 2-part conversation with them, and I loved it. It was just great. So I excuse me. I watched them out of order. There's also one of the episodes is about a kid who's in jail from J6. So, she's really pounding the J6 reporting and journalism here. So the bottom line to the story is go watch it. Truth in Media is the handle at @truth_in media on Twitter. And you can watch the Brunson brothers. And, they're not even lawyers, Ken. Everything they learned about the law, they taught themselves, like Abraham Lincoln. And they lost. But they said that their case wouldn't be heard, but no reason why. Sorry, your case is dismissed, but no explanation on why.
See, that's the problem I have.
Yeah. So Lara Logan, it was kind of cool going back and forth with Lara Logan.
Yeah, really.
I gotta tell you on Twitter last night. I was like a little girl. And I also, by the way, invited her. I said, you can watch the show, 9 to 11 Central.
There you go.
2 handsome guys in the studio here doing some conservative radio. So anyway, we'll see if we can get Lara Logan maybe in November when she's done with all her great work about J6. All right. Coming up next, the Wheel of Audio Clips on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Ha ha! I can do it too. Big shot.
Stream The Vic Porcelli Show at NewstalkSTL. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Oh, Putin's kleptocracy. Yeah. Biden's being Biden's being extremist.
Oh, son of a gun. You thought I was going to say son of a bitch, didn't you?
On News Talk STL.
Never gets old. Never gets old. All right, listen. The folks over at Connor Roofing, Kathy and Rob Connor, and myself and Ken, are starting a campaign that's called No Goobers.
That's right.
When Goober comes to your house on a Saturday morning while you're drinking coffee and trying to read the paper, and he asks you if you want a new roof, just slam. Don't even offer him coffee. Just get rid of him. Okay.
So just say no goobers.
No goobers in my neighborhood. Put up a sign with a goober and a circle with line through goober. Because the Connors are the ones who are going to take care of you from beginning to end. And when I say beginning, you may put up your own Christmas lights and get up on the roof. I don't. Okay. 2 rungs up the ladder. I'm done. I don't know what my roof looks like. So that's when Connor comes, takes a look, and gives you an honest estimate of what you need, or you might not need anything. And they'll tell you that too, because Goober's going to say, yep, you need a new roof. But I just put one up yesterday. Nope, you need a new roof. Can't trust Goober. Quality work, great customer service, emergency repairs, and senior citizen and veterans discounts. The only way to go for a roof, ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER roofing.com.
On the next,
Larry Connors, USA.
Humanitarian aid for Gaza, but is it going to go to civilians or will it be confiscated by Hamas?
Larry Connors, USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
The ultimate tribute to the Beatles brings you their best show ever. The Fab Four live.
Yes, I'm gonna be a star.
The Fab Four performs the Beatles' Rubber Soul in its entirety, plus all the Beatles' greatest hits. Don't miss the show for the whole family. Witness the best Beatles show in the world. This Saturday night, the Family Arena. Reserve seats on sale now at Ticketmaster.
His legendary soulful voice is unmistakable.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee Al Green returns to the concert stage. A night of iconic hits from the 13-time Grammy Award winner Al Green with special guest Betty LaVette.
Saturday, November 25th at the Family Arena. Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena and Ticketmaster.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
That's what happens if you're a Republican and you're accused of lying to the FBI.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
What does the FBI do? The FBI lies to Congress. The Attorney General lies to Congress. The Director of Homeland Security lies to Congress. And then what happens? Nothing happens.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
Because as we all know now, the FBI, the DOJ have become nothing more than the enforcement arm of the leftist government.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
Fox News commentary.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is going to Israel, but where he's really aiming to be is the White House. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
What's gotten lost in a lot of news coverage is trust.
Dan Abrams and Elizabeth Vargas on America's fastest growing cable news network, News Nation.
News Nation is the place that people can come because they trust that at the least we're trying to be straight with them.
Every point of view is represented. That's what we do. We only earn that trust, keep that trust by every single night fulfilling that mission.
To find News Nation on your screen, go to joinnn.com.
Governor Gavin Newsom announced he is making a trip to Israel to meet with those impacted by the terror attacks and offering California's support. Though it's not unusual for U.S. leaders, even governors, to make trips overseas to meet with world leaders and such, Gavin's trip to Israel is more than that. In my eyes, this is yet another indication he will run for president in 2024. Why else would he feel the need to make this trip? Why else would he feel the need to make an international spectacle of himself? This isn't your standard gubernatorial duty here. This is an effort by Newsom to appear capable of managing international conflict and diplomacy. It's also a subtle dunk on Biden. Newsom maintains over and over again that he's not running for president in 2024, but where there's smoke, my friends, there is often fire, and Gavin is the king of blowing hot air. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show Tommy Lahren is Fearless at Outkick.com.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
Hey, how you doing?
On News Talk STL.
How you doing, radio listening audience? So we're streaming on Facebook. It's like we can't just have everything all the time.
I know.
It's Facebook problems the last couple of days, but we were on Rumble. Today we're on Facebook, but something's wrong with Rumble. It's not us. Rumble's having some sort of problems this morning. Is that right?
Yeah, we usually have a lot of problems, here just trying to navigate these things. But no, this week it's always been Facebook or Rumble having the problem.
And Twitter.
Your
Twitter, my Twitter, station's Twitter.
Yes,
okay.
and YouTube still.
We're
still there.
We are, huh? I haven't screwed that up yet?
Not yet.
All right, let's do it. It's Friday. Did I say it's Wednesday?
No.
It's Friday.
Wheel of Audio Clips.
Ken does love that. Play me some Biden.
I do.
It's America's favorite game show, the Wheel of Audio Clips. Here's the host of Wheel of Audio Clips, Vic Porcelli.
Here's what's funny. Ken is so good at what he does. When something like that happens, it's so glaring, because you never slip up at all. And when something like that happens, it's just, I don't know, it's just funny.
Well, it's what happened to me mentally for a split second. We play so much of that Biden information because it's always there. Yeah, Biden in the brain.
Yeah, Biden brain.
Exactly.
All right, welcome to the Wheel of Audio Clips. Thank you, Jim Odslin. Thank you, everybody, for coming down. Studio audience. You didn't go. There they are. Hi, studio audience. Nice to see you. All right, so we take all the audio clips that we heard all week, and Ken puts them up on the wheel, and then he spins the wheel, and wherever it stops, that's what we play. And the evidence of that we just spin the wheel and let it go, because if we were going to rig the game, there wouldn't be any Biden at all ever. Right. It would just be Trump every time. And we can't do that.
We can't do that.
All right, so spin the wheel and see where it goes. It would be great. It would be if we're all Trump all the time.
He's trying to be fair.
Yeah, I know. After a while, you just can't be fair anymore. Look at this. Jeffrey's 190, Jordan 175. We are going to have a stupid liberal as the Speaker of the House with the majority in the House.
Watch it.
Who call us extreme, what do they call us?
Extreme MAGA radicals or whatever.
Republicans. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. So it landed, of course, landed on Joe Biden.
I made wartime decisions. I know the choices are never clear.
What wartime decisions has he made? What wartime decision has he made?
I think Joe Biden is obsessed with becoming known as the wartime president.
What war?
Well, the one now, the one that's coming up.
I've made war. Oh, but he says he's talking in the past. Play
I
it
know.
again.
Yeah.
Play it
I
again.
made wartime decisions. I know the choices
Stop.
are.
He has not. What wartime decisions has he made?
Never.
Wartime means we're at war.
Right.
This is your theory that he can't think in American terms. He's got to think in global terms.
Right.
If
Never clear or easy for the leadership. There's always cost.
you know, in The Godfather, Tom Hagen, played by Robert Duvall,
Oh, yeah.
is the consigliere.
Mhm.
But before him, the consigliere was Genco Abendando. If you remember, the oil company, the olive oil company, was called Genco Olive Oil.
Oh, yeah.
Named after the consigliere Genco Abendando. And Genco was a wartime consigliere. Tom Hagen was not.
I got you.
So Joe Biden is not a wartime consigliere. He's not. What wartime decisions has he made?
Never. He never made any.
Okay, I'm just checking. Spin the wheel.
He never did.
He never did. This is terrible. Okay, this vote is terrible. We'll see if it ends before 11 o'clock. Wouldn't that be neat? All right, so it lands on, of course, why not ruin my weekend more? More Joe Biden.
I apologize for having to repeat it. When a person can be married in the morning and thrown out of a restaurant for being gay in the afternoon, something is still fundamentally wrong in this country.
And they
And
clap
still
like that.
exists.
That's new, by the way. That's not the old one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
Ken,
brand
I
new.
didn't even realize that.
Yeah, that's brand new.
I just thought you were playing the old one again.
No.
It sounds exactly the same.
That's why he said at the very beginning.
I apologize for having to repeat it. When a person
Okay. So here's what Joe says happens. So even with all the criticism when he said that the first time,
Right.
when show, because we're not the only show in America that said, Joe, tell me one time when
Ever.
a gay couple got married and then thrown out of a restaurant that afternoon. Show me one time.
Yeah.
And he goes and he says it again.
That's nuts.
You know the people who get thrown out of restaurants? Conservatives get thrown out of restaurants.
Yeah, yeah.
Sarah Huckabee
I
Sanders
was
got
just
thrown
gonna-
out of that.
God, I'm glad I didn't say her name.
That restaurant that's red. It's like a hen is in the name or something. And she got thrown out. Conservatives get thrown out of restaurants, not gay people.
Right.
Okay. Spin the wheel.
I cleaned it off, by the way. It's pretty shiny today.
Yeah. Like use Windex? Yeah. Windex works. Here we go. Stopping on. Oh, just Trump. For God's sakes. Here's Kamala Harris.
So here's one thing I'm going to share about myself. I'm kind of a geek.
No, she's not.
So to that extent, one of the things I love are Venn diagrams. I love Venn diagrams. So the three, you could pull out a Venn diagram to help you with anything that looks like it's in conflict, right? So a Venn diagram.
Okay, first of all, can I say something about her being a geek? She's not, because geeks, I've seen geeks a lot lately. My daughter goes to Missouri S&T. They're very intelligent people.
Yeah.
She's not.
No, she's
and
not
this
a
is
geek.
not a repeat. This
No,
is
This
brand
is a new Venn diagram. So here's the thing, okay? Tells, right? We talk about tells. In poker, there's plenty of tells. If somebody takes chips and puts them into, no, let's say when you have your two cards and then that flop comes out, those three cards on the board there come out, you look at your opponent. You don't look at the flop, you look at your opponent and try to get a reaction from him looking at the flop.
Mm.
If he just stares at the cards, he probably doesn't have a hand. If he immediately looks down at his chips, he probably has a hand. That's a tell.
Okay.
Okay. Kamala Harris has the worst tell ever. If she was such a geek about Venn diagrams, she wouldn't be this excited about it. She has the excitement of something that is brand new.
Yeah.
Something shiny and new. Somebody, here's what happened. Okay. Here's what I'm telling you what happened. Somebody actually had a Venn diagram and showed her, right, the circles. And then she goes, oh, what's that? It's a Venn diagram, Madam Vice President. Have you not seen one of these? Oh, yeah. I love Venn diagrams.
Right.
They're my favorite. You see how she's going overboard?
Yes.
Can I get back to the Lara Logan thing for a second?
Yeah.
The 2020 election. Ken, what was the left's big phrase about that 2020 election and its accuracy? Do you remember? It's the most secure election in American history.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That was the line.
Yeah.
In the special, Laura plays a montage of people saying that narrative, right? We talk about the narrative. The left follows the narrative. And 20 people in a row saying the most secure election. That's the tell.
Okay.
Because they went overboard. They didn't say, no, this election was secure. They had to say the most secure in history. Bullshit.
Stuff. And they had anchors across the country repeating that same line.
Exactly word for word.
Yeah.
All right. I'm done spinning. I love Venn diagrams.
I love it.
I only found out about them this week, but boy, do I love them. She hasn't said something like she's loved them for years, has she?
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness we don't have to hear any more. No, I guess we do. More Kamala Harris.
So let us today celebrate America's diversity
Unburdened. Let's hear
and
it.
our collective commitment to inclusion and the importance of equity. Yes, I just did do DEI.
What an idiot.
Wow.
She did DIE, by the way.
Ken, I ask again, how in the Willie Brown did she get that?
I
job?
have no idea.
Spin the wheel. I never saw a stupider person in my life. All right. Maybe no Biden, no Kamala, no AOC. That'd be great. Well, what's this now, Ken? CNBC? Huh. I wonder if they have to say about Joe Biden.
Having enough emergency savings and paying monthly bills, get this, have unseated saving for retirement as the #1 concern for workers between the ages of 21 and 64, according to a new survey.
Stop. Oh, that was it? That was the end of it?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
it.
I don't know who that person is on CNBC, but there's two things going on here. First of all, I'm glad she said it.
Yeah.
Because more people are concerned about paying the rent this month.
Yes.
And still having money for medicine and still having money for groceries. That is what people are worrying about, not retirement. But you know what really pisses me off about that? What you just played? Her little line of "get this."
Yeah.
Because she doesn't have to worry about it because she's making a ton of money on CNBC. That was such an elitist kind. Get this. The peasants are worried about paying their mortgage.
Right.
Spin the wheel. My God. Jeffries has 210 votes. Jordan has 194. This country is screwed. All right. How about something good? Something positive. Something. Yeah. Something Donald Trump.
And he turned it. Did you see the other day? Thank you. You know what happens after about 20 minutes? The stuff that he's taking wears off. So it gets a little groggy. Gets a little bit groggy. They say, get him off the stage. That's swearing off, man. Get him off. And I'm sure that the cocaine that they found in the White House, that I'm sure. I feel certain it had nothing to do with Hunter and Joe, by the way.
They haven't solved it
They'd
yet.
have a little of this stuff. It's going to liven you up a little bit. Can you imagine they found a stash that you wouldn't believe and nobody laid claim to?
That story just went away. What about Maui, by the way?
Yeah.
When do we find out what happened to the kids? How many kids were
Yes.
killed in that fire?
Yes.
We'll never find out. That was President Donald Trump, the 45th and 47th president of the United States. Little history lesson in advance. Oh, and by the way, hold on, because he's coming.
Remember, they're coming after me because I'm standing up for you.
Thank you, Mr. President, very much. We're waiting. All right. That is all the time we have, unfortunately, for the Wheel of Audio Clips. We'll do it, of course, again next Friday we'll spin the wheel and find some dopey things that Joe Biden or Kamala Harris says. So thanks for listening. And don't forget to help control the liberal population. Have your liberal spayed or neutered. Goodbye, everybody. All right. Big week this week. It was a big week. Good week. We got to go. It's time for the weekend. It's time for Dan Bongino. I thought we were going to get the results of that vote, but we didn't. I'm sorry. Thank you for having the record player on at night to listen to us this morning.
Make sure you have the record player on at night.
Bongino up next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home. Have a great weekend. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy Friday.
It's Friday.
It's Friday.
On 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
Someday I'll be able to look at my working day. Life will be grim because the ship is coming in. Everything will go my way and I won't have to say, here come the weekend. Here come the weekend. Here come the weekend. My working week's so tough, I think I've had enough until the weekend. Here come the weekend. Here come the weekend. Here come the weekend.
So many ways to listen to News Talk STL.
Come join the conversation.
Enable our Alexa skill. Hey, Alexa, play News Talk STL.
Welcome to News Talk STL, conservative talk radio for St. Louis.
Always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com
Or on your radio.
at 101.9, 94.1, and 99.1 HD3. News Talk STL. News, analysis, and opinion. Welcome home.
From home improvement to replacement, do-it-yourself electrical projects can be shocking. That's where Grasser Electric can help. They've been lighting up St. Louis for years. From ceiling fans and dimmer switches to repair or replacing your electric. No job is too big or too small for your home or business. Grasser Electric will even install emergency backup generators. So call Grasser Electric today before the sparks start to fly. 636-441-5200 or go to grasserelectric.com.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Hey, Columbo here, reminding you that cybersecurity has never been more important, so you need to ask yourself, is your business prepared for a possible ransomware attack? And if you have any doubt, you need to call the team at ThrottleNet today. ThrottleNet provides world-class managed IT services and IT support to many local organizations, including my family's own small business. They're St. Louis's highest rated and most reviewed outsourced IT company, and there's many different ways ThrottleNet can help with your business's operation and digital protection. Learn more now at throttlenet.com.
Steph's Pizza is on the move to Lake St. Louis. That's right, you can now get the legendary Steph's Pizza and Pasta in Lake St. Louis, 111 Pond Fort Trail. Steph's Pizza, where Mondays you get a large pizza for the price of a small, and it just got more convenient for pickup or delivery in Lake St. Louis. Steph's Pizza in the Chesterfield Valley on Long Road, in St. Peter's on Jungerman, and now in Lake St. Louis at 111 Pond Fort Trail. Check them out at Steph'sPizza.com. Tonight's a good night for Steph's Pizza.
Hey, Tony Columbo here for Gutter Pros. When Christine and I bought our new house, we knew the gutters were an issue, and after meeting the Gutter Pros team, we knew that they were right for us. Gutter Pros is your all-in-one gutter service team that offers a variety of affordable solutions, and they even offer free estimates, so there's no cost to you to find out if they are right for your home, just like they were for ours. If you're having a problem with your gutters, contact the Gutter Pros now, because with Gutter Pros, water goes where they tell it to. Call them at 314-656-7195 or visit gutterpros.com.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNVS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who made the nominating speech for Jim Jordan as the next speaker, says Jordan is the right person for the job.
As the leader of the Judiciary Committee, Jim has passed more bills through the House
in just 3 years than the entire Democrat leadership team that has their collective 28 years in Congress.
Another House vote is underway for the speakership position as Jordan pressed for a third vote, but it appears the third vote will end as the first two ballots did, with Jordan not receiving the votes needed to win the gavel. Also at townhall.com, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres says there are a lot of conditions in place before the trucks carrying the needed aid for Gazans can go through.
So these trucks are not just trucks. They are a lifeline. They are the difference between life and death for so many people in Gaza. And to see them stuck here makes me be very clear. What we need is to make them move.
Meanwhile, Israel has bombarded the Gaza Strip as it began evacuating a sizable Israeli town near the border with Lebanon, the latest sign of a potential ground invasion of Gaza that could trigger regional turmoil. Israel's defense minister said after the country destroys the Hamas militant group, the military does not plan to control the Gaza Strip. The UAW says President Sean Fain will update members on progress in talks with Detroit's three automakers. He is scheduled to do a live video appearance this afternoon. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 112 points, the NASDAQ losing 146. This is townhall.com.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, an evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation and government handouts and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group, because physical precious metals are one of the few ways you can maintain control over your own savings. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word faith to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and you'll see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached. Text the word faith to 989898 and you're going to be blessed by taking action right now.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
This is a 5-star kind of day. The sunshine is back, a cool morning, but a high of around 72 this afternoon, just about as good as it gets this time of year. Tonight, clear, 54 for the overnight low. Sunshine Saturday, a little warmer too with a high of 75. Just keep an eye on the winds. They'll be a bit gusty out of the northwest. Saturday night, clear down to 46, and Sunday, mostly sunny, a little cooler, 66 for the afternoon high. Enjoy it. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com.
Is your retirement income at risk if you or your spouse needs nursing home or in-home care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. The cost of long-term care is one of the biggest risks in retirement planning. For many retirees, a single nursing home stay can cause a significant reduction in assets that can permanently reduce your retirement income. Fortunately, there are affordable and flexible options available today that can help you manage the cost of long-term care. Our team can help you address the risks relevant to your retirement, including long-term care. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Ackerman Toyota has the 2024 models. You're going to be impressed. Check them out in person at Ackerman Toyota, Hampton and Interstate 44. In fact, you've got to see the 2024 Toyota Sequoia. Very impressive. This is the time to buy and get top dollar for your vehicle. Looking for pre-owned? Ackerman Toyota can also help you. Ackerman Toyota at Hampton and 44. AckermanToyota.com. Ackerman Toyota for life.
So we finally got the parts for the time machine. Classic Kicks Country is streaming now. Hear all your new country favorites from the 90s. Streaming as it happened in the 90s. Classic Kicks. Download the Classic Kicks app from the App Store. Online at ClassicKicks.com. Or enable the Classic Kicks skill on Alexa. 90s New Country streaming now. The news and talk.
Though Israel didn't start this war, Israel will finish it.
That matters to St. Louis.
There's no plans to put U.S. boots on the ground here?
It's a defining moment for all of us.
This is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
From the NYPD to the Secret Service to behind the microphone, taking the fight to the radical left and the putrid swamp. You're listening to the Dan Bongino Show. Here he is, Dan Bongino.
It's hard to explain. The crybaby caucus is not shrinking. It's getting worse. Jim Jordan, the third ballot now for Speaker. The third ballot just happened. Jim Jordan went down again, lost a few more votes in the process. I think they're now up to 25 defectors. I got to tell you, I've been involved in politics for a long time. I have never seen anything like this. You understand the Democrats are only 8 votes away, maybe 7, from having Hakeem Jeffries. Look at the numbers, Jim. Hakeem Jeffries got 210 votes. Jim Jordan got 194. How do you think this looks to the Republican voters right now in America who voted in a GOP majority in the House that Hakeem Jeffries, election-denying, radical left-wing lunatic, is only 7 votes away from the speakership, while Jim Jordan is, at this point, a whole lot more. It looks like he's 23 votes away, depending on what their quorum was. This is insane. I have never seen anything like this. Now, listen, my expectations for the Republican Party are so low that it's really hard to be disappointed. What's one of the golden rules of the show? Most Republicans on Capitol Hill are really Democrats. However, no Democrats are really Republicans. So if you remember that golden rule, you'll never be disappointed. But I got to tell you, even for me, this is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like this. Their phone lines are melting down. Who are the... Hold on, I got to look at this. Jim just sent it to me. Third ballot. This is it. Bacon, Buchanan, Buck, Chavez, Derimer, D'Esposito. D'Esposito. Is that Anthony? Wouldn't we have him on the show? Jim, D'Esposito is the Long Island guy, right? You got to be kidding. Is that Jim? Look that up. If that's the same guy, he's banned. I got that. This guy was on my show. I had people reaching out. Oh, you got to get this guy on the show. That better not be the same. I'm pretty sure it is. That better not be the same guy. I've never seen anything like this. Their phone lines are melting down. Millions of people are caught. What is it? It's the same guy, right, Mike? Brother, don't call us again. Mike, Jim, take all these names down. When you guys are looking for re-election and you're looking for activists and volunteers and you're looking for money and cheese, don't call us. D'Esposito, don't call again. Diaz, Ballard, LZ, Ferguson, Fitzpatrick, Gabarino, Jimenez, who's just a total loser. Gonzalez, Granger, WBAP. There's your lady. Kay Granger, right? There she is. She don't care. She don't care. Call my office. What do you think I do? Represent you idiots? It's your freaking title, dipwad. What do you think? I'm going to listen to you? Calling me, intimidating me. No one's intimidating you, and if anybody is, they shouldn't. You represent the people. They're allowed to call you and express their opinion and stuff. John James, who's just an embarrassment. John James in Michigan, just a disgrace. No one should ever give this guy a dime again. Ever. Ever. John James wants to be the senator and the governor of Michigan. Put him on your absolutely do not support list. No chance. Keene, Mike Kelly from Pennsylvania, who's really embarrassed himself. Higgins, Laloda, Lawler from New York. Lawler, who's got the biggest complex I've ever seen in my life. Guy goes on the news, let me tell you something. You better play your big lips on my ass or I ain't voting for anyone. Bro, get over yourself. I don't think we should be here either, but we are. Can we pick a speaker, please? So the world doesn't burn down? Marianne Miller Meeks, an embarrassment. Molinaro, Rutherford, Simpson, Stauber, and Womack. Esposito. Don't never call us again. Ever. You know what? I got to tell you, man, I did a favor for someone who reached out to me. He was a very close friend who ran into this guy or one of his buddies and was like, hey, man, I think he was a former cop or something, right? Yeah, he's one of us. Have him on the show. And folks, listen, my apologies. I can't, what am I going to do? Hold a sit-down interview with everybody who comes on the show? This is why I don't like having politicians on the show, because they always screw you. This guy's got the easiest vote in American history. Just pick a damn speaker. By the way, you know what he's holding out for, from what I heard, now that this comes to mind? I heard the New Yorkers are holding out because they want the SALT limitation dumped. The state and local tax thing, so that New York can hike its taxes ridiculously, and that these people, they want a write-off for it. Keep holding out, man. We get the world on fire. I don't know if you heard, but a U.S. destroyer in the Red Sea just took kinetic action against 2 cruise missiles from Yemen launched over Saudi Arabia near Israel. Did you happen to see that? Maybe we should pick a speaker. Just an idea. They're sending drones, armed drones, to target our troops in Iraq. There are 14 American hostages and 32 Americans killed in a terror attack. Maybe you guys can pick, get your diapies, get your pull-ups on, losers. Get the wipies out. I know you had an accident. Mommy's got to come in. Clean yourselves up. Stop intimidating us. Stop intimidating us? Are you wussbags for real? I got to tell you, a guy I rarely, if ever, agree with. And I didn't like his appearance this morning, but at least, if Crenshaw was on this morning, a guy who we've had enough beefs with to fill a book up. But even Crenshaw was like, listen, man, the threats thing, get over it. And then he went on to be like, but this is out of hand. What's out of hand? But then in the end, he's like, well, I'm going to cast my vote for Jordan. If that guy can get over it, who holds grudges against everyone, what the hell are you guys doing? Folks, I got to tell you, I don't have an easy answer for you here. A lot of you, as Charles just sent me a message over here, I haven't voted for Kay Granger in over 10 years. Listen, I can't tell. I'm not here to tell you who to vote for. Thanks, buddy. Good job. Sorry, he's leaving. But there's no easy answers to this. And I guess the overly emotional, I know I can be an emotional radio host, but I'm not an irrational one. Emotion's one thing. I still cling to reason and rationality. What am I going to tell you? Don't vote for Republicans, go vote for Democrats. They'll destroy the country tomorrow. I don't have an easy answer for you. I understand. Some of you may send me messages. I'm done. Screw them. I'm not going to talk you out of it anymore. I don't even blame you. I tell you, unfortunately, I've got to vote Republican. I got a congressman who's kind of squishy too. But what's my choice? The Democrat? Life is full of terrible choices. Someone says, I'm going to kill you with a chainsaw or with a cyanide pill. I'll take the cyanide pill. Both terrible choices. But this is unbelievable. You guys cannot pick a... Are you kidding me? You can't pick a speaker? You're right. Jim, last time I checked, these are adults, right? There's no children in Congress. Actual, It's a good point. Jim's like, maybe they were faking it. Maybe we should start checking birth certificates. What are you guys, like 9? Kay Granger, for our audience out there. Well, what's her issue? I don't understand. What's her beef? Please explain to me, again, using reason and your big words, why at this point, Jim Jordan, who has the most votes of anybody in the Republican caucus, why you would not vote for him. I'm going to vote for Kevin. Kevin's not running, morons. He literally gave a speech nominating Jim Jordan. Scalise isn't running either. He got 8th. 2 idiots voted for McCarthy, who nominated Jordan. Think about how stupid this is. All right, let's use an analogy here for a second. Let's use an analogy. I got to stand up, Jim. Jim's never saying, because I can't. I never do the show standing up. Let's say there's like a board meeting and you got to pick a new CEO. And there's like a company deadline for a filing. And if you don't hit the company deadline for filing by Friday, you're going to get a massive SEC fine. All right? So you're all sitting around in a boardroom and you're on the board and you're getting ready to pick a new CEO. And there's only one guy who's been nominated. And the guy's okay. 6 people like him and 2 don't, but he does a decent job. And he needs, say 5 votes, right, to get this thing done. Can you imagine 4 people voting for other people who aren't even in the CEO race and haven't even been vetted just to make a point? You'd be like, you guys are fired. Like, get off our board immediately. But when it's Congress, everybody goes, oh, yeah, it's just Congress. Like, we expect nothing from these people. Maybe we should start expecting more. Listen, Jim, I don't know. Jim wants to know what point they're trying to make. That they're imbeciles? I don't really know. I don't really know, Jim. I can't give you an answer right now. Listen to the congressional staff members. I know you listen to the show on WMAL in D.C. I want you to listen to me right now. I know you hate my guts. I'm no fan of you either, although I helped a lot of you get elected, including D'Esposito, who's now totally banned forever. There's nothing you can do, by the way. You can go invade Iran by yourself and take the country over. You're totally out. I'm not even interested in your story. Don't text me. Don't have your people reach out. And in Nassau County, you should find someone else to run in Long Island, an area I know well, by the way. The guy's obviously disgraced himself. But I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm looking at, every day I open up the message feature on my Facebook to hear back from the audience. Because listen, any host can take calls, but you got to wait on the line. It's easy for people to send a message. The show just started 17 minutes and 42 seconds ago. There are seriously probably 300 messages in here, people giving a big FU to the Republican Party. They are so infuriated at you morons. I really can't believe you're incapable of picking up what they're putting down. It's stunning to me how you can be this dumb. And I took a lot of flack for you idiots for saying this was a bad idea. I did. There are still people. That was a great idea, Dan. I'd rather not have a house. Really? I'd rather be investigating Hunter Biden right now and fighting to get some spending cuts before the 10-year Treasury goes to 8%. At least we could do something. I defended what I thought, my opinion, and I'm going to defend it till the day I die, that it was a bad call. However, having said that, we're here. It's over. Lawrence Jones was on Fox and Friends the other day saying exactly this to Lawler. This congressman from New York, what's his name, Mike? Who, again, cannot get over his own ego. Well, we may be here without a speaker, but we still got to iron out what happened. We don't. It happened. McCarthy's gone. There's nothing to iron out. Are you that freaking stupid? Move on, idiots. I get it. You're pissed off. I ran for office and lost. I was really pissed off. I could have been like, right, Jim? Politics. You voters didn't pick me. You all suck. You're terrible. I'm out. No, you don't suck. You had a different opinion. I'm not a good politician anyway. You made the right call. Don't vote for me. I'm better off doing what I'm doing now. But my gosh, man. Put your freaking big boy pull-up diapers on and pick a darn speaker already. How childish do you have to be to vote for McCarthy after McCarthy nominated Jordan and Jordan supported McCarthy? Who are you sticking it to? The man? Sticking it to the man, bro. You sound like Rage Against the Machine. One of my favorite bands in the 90s that used to pretend to stick it to the man, who became a bunch of socialists and now are the man. That's who you sound like. Folks, I'm telling you right now in Congress, listen to me. I'm trying to help you. I tried to help you before with the Democrats and the 8 that I didn't think it was a good move. Nobody listened. Now I'm trying to help the 25 idiots. You guys are burning people up. And I got to tell you, although the news cycle switches fast, this thing's going to have legs soon if you don't unscrew this thing quickly. And you know the news cycle goes fast. This one may not. All right, I got to take a break. We'll be right back.
Bongino.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
This is good news, maybe exactly when you need it to. Right now, switching to MediShare can save you even more than usual on top of what you'll save each month by becoming a member of MediShare. So many people are looking for a healthcare solution right now, especially given how inflation is affecting us. And MediShare is the affordable, reliable alternative to health insurance. The typical family saves about $500 a month. You might save even more. And MediShare is a Christian community that's been sharing each other's healthcare costs for 30 years now, and they're making it easier than ever. Apply by October 31st, and you can save an additional $150 on your first month. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just tell them the promo code SHARE to get your additional savings. Maybe now is the time to make the switch, like more than 400,000 people already have, and start saving. Here it is. It's 844-53-BIBLE. That's 844-53-BIBLE, 844-53-BIBLE.
Dan Bongino.
What happens next?
Citizens of Israel, we are at war, not in an operation or in rounds, but at war.
Happens right here.
Hamas entered our communities. It was the worst nightmare ever.
250 Israelis are dead.
The next stage of this operation will be the response.
And let's make no mistake, this is an Iranian-backed assault and war.
101.9 and 94.1.
My administration's support for Israel's security is rock solid and unwavering.
News Talk STL.
Hi, Chris Arps here. Join me and the team at Royal Banks of Missouri for their annual Economic Forecast Breakfast. The event will take place on Tuesday, November 14th at the Factory in the District in the Chesterfield Valley. Hear from the experts and get a better understanding of what to expect from the U.S. economy in 2024 and beyond. Attendance is free, but you do need to reserve a spot. You can RSVP by sending an email to emails@royalbanksnet.com or by calling 314-212-1545. Royal Banks, Missouri, the community bank that is in your community.
Get charged up on the truth. Power Punch with Larry Behrens.
Everyone's talking about the $6 billion Joe Biden sent to Iran just about a month ago. As well they should be. But did you know he has opened up the money flow to Tehran for well over a year? He doesn't want to talk about it, but we will.
Power Punch with Larry Behrens. Saturday afternoons at 4 on News Talk STL.
Get more Power Punch at powerthefuture.com.
As you know, my friend Mike Lindell has a passion to help everyone get the best sleep of your life. He didn't stop by simply creating the best pillow. Now Mike has done it again with his My Slippers, and the folks at My Pillow are having an early Christmas slipper sale. The original My Slippers regular price is $139.98, but for a very limited time, they're offering these slippers for just $39.98. They come in a variety of sizes and colors. Use a promo code ONFIRE at mypillow.com or call 1-800-645-1392. The My Slippers are designed to be worn indoor and out. They are made with My Pillow foam and impact gel to help prevent fatigue. Plus, they feature quality suede leather. Unlock this special offer and other savings by using the promo code ONFIRE at mypillow.com. Once again, that number is 800-645-1392, 800-645-1392, or you can go to mypillow.com, use a promo code ONFIRE, and get your special discount today.
Welcome home to St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
Democrats do what they do.
We choose truth over facts. News, analysis, and opinion.
The United States stands with Israel.
How did Israel miss this? This could actually happen in America. Our border is wide open.
This is when the president has to send a very clear and unmistakable message.
The atrocities we're witnessing in Israel would never have happened if I was president.
1019 and 94.1. News United. News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
World, could you say no to this offer? The top 20% of your salespeople close 80% of the business. 80% of all sales are closed after the 5th attempt, and 83% of all salespeople don't even ask for the sale once. Did you know that 90% of all salespeople have never even read one sales book? How many sales are being lost each month simply because your salespeople are not professionally trained how to sell? Hi, this is the world's top sales trainer, Jason Evans. I'm going to give you a free 45-minute video of pure sales training techniques that will increase your company's sales within days. Guaranteed. This could double, even triple your company's sales. This video is closing, handling objections, and more. Just call us and leave us a voicemail, their email address, and we'll send you this amazing video for free. Call 800-500-8320. This is how to close from A to Z for any product or service, regardless of industry, whether you sell face-to-face or over the phone. Call 800-500-8320. That's 800-500-8320.
Paid for by Power Sales University. Individual results may vary.
Bongino Golden Rule number 4. There are Republicans that are Democrats, but there are no Democrats that are Republicans. The Dan Bongino Show.
Guys, ladies, I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen anything like that. My Facebook, I can't even read your messages fast enough. Just in the last 6 seconds, Nancy, Tim, Eric, Eric G, we know, Bart, Randy. This is just in the last 6 seconds. People are lighting up the messages on my Facebook. I'm telling you in Congress, if you're listening, I have never seen anything like this. I've seen people mad about Ukraine funding, people mad about a tax hike, people mad you'll get 5 or 6 emails on the show, on the Facebook feature here. I have never seen, now it appears to be like 500 people, Sean, Charlie, reach out at the same time, absolutely furious that you idiots in the Republican Party can't pick a speaker. Can I just say, I'm not going to say it for the last time because I may say it again, but why do you think the Democrats voted in unison for this? They voted with the 8 to get rid of McCarthy, who was a bad speaker, folks. The CR was a disaster. I get it. We should have fought harder. Point stipulated. You win. But why do you think they voted for this? Because this is exactly what they wanted. They vote in unison, in lockstep, like the board. And let me give you a piece of political advice. Take it or leave it. I'm not your messiah. I'm just your humble radio host. Whatever the Democrats want, if you do the opposite, you will typically be better off. It's not a golden rule, but I'm telling you that's true almost every single time. Folks, for 10 years, Patriot Mobile has been America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. And when I say only, trust me, they're the only one. Glenn and the team have been great supporters of the show. Love the guy, love the company. You guys have all been flooding the Patriot Mobile. I'm always proud to partner with them. They offer dependable nationwide coverage, giving you the ability to access all 3 major networks, which means you get the same coverage you've been accustomed to without funding the left. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you're sending the message that you support free speech, religious freedom, the sanctity of life, the Second Amendment, our military, veteran, and first responder heroes. They're 100% U.S.-based customer service team. They make switching easy. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Their team will help you find the best plan for your needs. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. Get free activation when you use the offer code Dan. Join me and make the switch today. patriotmobile.com/Dan. That's patriotmobile.com/Dan. Or call 972-PATRIOT.
Dan Bongino.
If you're 19...
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Republican Jim Jordan has failed again in the third trial for the Speaker's gavel. More than 20 centrist Republicans are revolting over the Ohio congressman's nomination. House Democrats once again nominated Hakeem Jeffries. Israel says it does not plan to take long-term control over the Gaza Strip after an expected ground offensive to root out Hamas militants that rule the territory. Meanwhile, the Israeli military has punished Gaza with more airstrikes. The United Auto Workers Union says President Sean Payne will update members on progress in contract talks with Detroit's 3 automakers this afternoon with a live video appearance. Stocks are lower. The Dow is down 139 points. This is SRN News.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, an evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation and government handouts and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group, because physical precious metals are one of the few ways you can maintain control over your own savings. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word faith to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and you'll see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached. Text the word faith to 989898 and you're going to be blessed by taking action right now.
Subscribe and watch your favorite News Talk STL shows. Mike Ferguson in the morning, The Vic Porcelli Show, Columbo and Katie, Jones and Arps. Webcam streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble. Subscribe and watch News Talk STL.
Are you wanting to improve the look and efficiency of your home? Well, one of the best and easiest ways you can do that, get some new windows. Window World, simply the best for less. You can give them a call today at 314-993-1800. Over 20 years in the business in the St. Louis area, over 70,000 satisfied customers. That's because Window World uses double strength glass, gives it a strength not commonly used in replacement windows. They've got the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. They've got 18 months, same as cash financing. You can get them today. 314-993-1800, windowworld.com. That's windowworld.com.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss as part of our lineup every week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 3 times every weekend on News Talk STL. And in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Trump World, the Crime Crisis, and SCOTUS with Zach Smith at 425. Accountability in Congress, Patrick Ishmael, 525.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
Any questions? Call 844-4-the-USA to get the answers. 844-484-3872. The Dan Bongino Show.
So let me tell you, because I didn't get to do it in the beginning of the show, what we're going to do today. You know, when I first started doing radio, a program director, a friend of mine, he's a good guy. He's trying to give me some radio tips. It was probably a good tip. I say good tip as I ignore it right here, but he's like, don't ever tell people what you're going to do during the show, because if you don't get to it, they may be disappointed, which is probably smart, but I don't know. Jim and I have never followed the rules anyway, and things seem to be working out okay, so why start now? Here's what I want to do. The breaking news with Jim Jordan going down on the third vote for speaker kind of screwed us up a little bit. Live radio, you got to take care of what's in front of you. There's another bit of breaking news that just happened. Another defendant in the Fulton County, Georgia police state tyranny case against Donald Trump, Ken Chesbro, apparently he's going to plead guilty too, along with Sidney Powell. What it is, we'll get you the details. It's probably misdemeanors. Folks, I'm just applying the heavy Bongino rule on this. On the Sidney Powell and Chesbrough plea deals, please do not jump to any conclusions. I'm obviously a supporter of Donald Trump, but I say this to you as a former federal agent and a guy who's been involved in the legal system for a long time, not as a supporter, as a rational legal analyst of this. Do not jump the gun on this. People plead guilty for all kinds of reasons all the time. No, Dan, they plead guilty because they're guilty. A lot of the times, yes. Sometimes, no. Really? Yes, really. In this case, I don't believe Sidney Powell or Chesbrough committed any crimes at all. So why are they pleading guilty? Because, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to be on trial in a county that's, I think, 70+% Democrat. You think they're going to get a fair trial? You think they didn't see what happened to the January 6 people? 47 trillion years for trespassing, 2 million in legal fees. They're probably sitting there. Sidney Powell knows she committed no crime. So does Chesbrough. But they're probably thinking like rational actors. They're saying, okay, I didn't commit a crime, but do I want to go through a lengthy trial, which, by the way, Fani Willis has already promised, probably going to cost me $1 million, to probably get convicted anyway by a jury that's going to be overwhelmingly Trump haters, to have to appeal later to spend another $1 million to take my chances if I can plead guilty to a misdemeanor I didn't commit right now, serve almost no jail time, and then promise to testify. I say promise to testify because nobody knows what they're going to testify to. Everybody's jumped the gun. I've had people testify in cases and promise to testify because they wanted what we used to call, I think it was a 5K letter, and their testimony turned out to be useless. Can only testify to the facts. I don't think Powell committed a crime at all. Don't jump the gun on this. This Bongino rule gives some real time. I mean, like a couple of weeks before you make any judgments here. They committed no crime. I have zero doubt about that personally. People plead guilty all the time for all kinds of reasons, totally unrelated to the legality or quality of the case. That just happened. That's why I'm bringing it up. In the opening hour, again, Jim Jordan going down in the third vote. He's now losing support. I don't know. I don't know, folks. I don't know. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen a party so committed. And folks, before we, by the way, let me just say this. I shouldn't say, let me rephrase how I started that. We shouldn't throw the entire party under the bus. Jim Jordan did get 194 Republican votes. And I think it's important we remember that. Because if we start to stereotype the whole Republican Party and your guy or woman in Congress did the right thing, then it's kind of dumb, right? If your guy was like, hey, we need a speaker, I'm going to vote for Speaker Jim Jordan on round one. He's a conservative guy. Doesn't make any sense to like crap on, oh, look at this guy. What a dope. Well, he's not a dope. He did the right thing. You should direct your IRE, at the 25 idiots right now and growing who insist on being morons. Here's the list again. We'll read just a few more names. Don Bacon, who's a total disgrace to humankind in Nebraska. Vern Buchanan, wasn't he bowling at the White House the other day? There's like a video of him bowling at the White House. Buck, Chavez, Derimer, D'Esposito from Nassau County, Long Island, who should be primaried immediately. Mario Diaz-Balart, who loves going on TV and telling you, look how strong I am. Republican voters are calling me as a representative, telling me to pick a speaker, and I don't respond to that, man. But we're very proud of you. We're very proud of you. And if there was like an imbecile class, you would definitely graduate at the top, bro. LZ Ferguson, Fitzpatrick, Gabarino, Jimenez, Gonzalez, who you can never run. Is that Tony Gonzalez? He's in Texas, right? The guys the worst rhino ever. This guy's not even a rhino. He's not even a. This guy's just a full-blown Democrat. He's not even a rhino. Kay Granger, BAP audience in Dallas, Fort Worth area. Do your thing, man. Be cool about it because they're like, they were intimidated. No one should be intimidated. That's not what we're talking about. Stop whining and moaning all the time. We've called that out. You know where this show's stance is on any kind of violent political rhetoric. We absolutely, on no uncertain terms, condemn it. I dedicated my entire life to protecting Obama, Clinton, and Bush from political threats. You think we're going to jump on that bandwagon? What are you, an idiot? But I got news for you, Kay Granger. You're a representative. You represent people who have every right to call you and express an opinion. John James, disgraceful, out of Michigan. Disgraceful. Keene, Kelly, Higgins, Lolota, Lawler out of New York. Marianne Miller Meeks, Molinaro. Rutherford, Simpson. Is Simpson out of Iowa? You guys look this up for me. I'm pretty sure. Is he out of Iowa? Mike. This guy's another one. Stauber, Womack. I'm getting tired of these guys. Idaho. Put your big boy pants on. Go to work. One last time, because I got a big show for you today. I want to get to this self-defense segment. With everything going on in the Middle East, I think it's important we talk about this. To the congressional staffers, and maybe congressmen and women listening right now, to the Kay Grangers, Mario Diaz, Ballarts of the world, who insist on continuing to act like little children and refuse to pick a speaker. I want to ask you a question. You got some roughnecks out there, right? Working in coal mines, oil fields, in our military, kicking down doors. You got Delta guys who are just doxxed, by the way, by the hapless Biden administration. But you got Delta guys, Delta Force guys, the baddest ass operators in the world, overseas right now, trying to get back the 14 American hostages taken hostage by the demon savages and Hamas. How do you think this sounds to them right now? You got a Delta guy right now sitting in the suck overseas, knowing he's about to get in the next couple weeks, maybe days, maybe hours, the firefight of his life, and is probably going to have a 7.62 round whizzing by his head at what, about 3,000 feet per second or whatever? You think he wants to hear your bull stuff about how you got your diaper wet and you're only Kevin, even though Kevin McCarthy isn't even running and nominated Jim Jordan? How do you think that sounds to him right now? Let's do the white collar guys too. Say you got some consultant. They work hard too. I had a friend. This guy was on the road Monday through Thursday, barely saw his kids. His third flight's delayed. He's been busting his ass. He's on his 16th hour. He's trying to get home to see his kids on a Friday. He's been busting his ass all week trying to get some petro company back on its feet. He's sitting in an airport. He's probably slept in with a tie on. He's had on for 3 days. You think he really cares about you whiny? I'm only Kevin. Kevin's not running, morons. He literally nominated Jim Jordan. Let's go with the blue collar guys. My dad was a plumber. My brother's an electrician. I was a cop. My other brother's an agent. Was an agent. My dad was a plumber. My dad used to have to take his clothes off outside the house, not inside the house. But he'd be in his underwear. Didn't matter. He'd come in the back door. I lived on Rose Lane in Smithtown, Long Island. I'm not going to tell you the house number, but that's where I lived growing up before my parents got divorced. My dad used to leave his clothes in the back and his boots. You know why? Because he was a plumber and he was walking around in, let's just say, hit all day with a tactical S somewhere. He left his pants and his shoes and everything outdoors, his shirt, because it was disgusting. Probably picked up the clothes to wash them with tongs or something like that. My dad is a tough guy. I used to live in an apartment on the side of his house in Selden, in Suffolk County, New York, not far from D'Esposito in Nassau County. And, you know, I thought I got up early. When I was a young agent, he rented me his apartment really cheap. It was an apartment. It was literally attached to his house. Small. It was like 200 square feet. But I didn't care. I worked in the Long Island office. I used to think I got up early to work out. I'd get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. You know what time my dad got up and left? 4. My dad was the head building inspector for the town of Smithtown. He was the boss. He was paid a salary 9 to 5. So why did he get up at 4? Because my dad wanted to get to work way before everyone else because he thought it sent an important message. How do you think that guy feels right now? How do you think my dad and your dad sitting in a coal mine on his hour number, what, about 4 or 5 right now? maybe on a 20-minute lunch break, with coal dust all over his uniform and his respirator. How do you think he feels right now? Listening to you wussbag, childish losers in Congress gripe about how upset you are. I'm upset too. We shouldn't be here. We shouldn't have been here without a plan. Fine. Granted. Move on. Let me give you my own personal story. You know, I was doing an advance once in Indonesia. It was pretty hot. It was pretty hot. Obama was going over there. We were afraid we were going to get hit. And even worse, we'd been there 3 times. They kept canceling the trip. I had a couple guys. They screwed up. They decided to go out. We were in this hotel, the Shangri-La in Indonesia, Jakarta. There was a pool there. I don't know. I never saw it. I was working 3 weeks. These 2 guys got done early one day, decided to go out by the pool and have a drink. Broke a glass, wound up cutting someone's foot, caused a big scene outside the pool. We had like 3 days to go to the end of the trip. What'd you think I did? You think I sat there in the room with my boss, Mark, had to send these? I knew these guys. They were friends. I had to send them home. I had to send them home on like a 24-hour flight home. It's not one flight. It was like 3 flights. I then had to fly other people in to take their place with almost no time left. What do you think I did? Give up on the trip? You know what? We're not going to secure the president tonight because I'm mad at these guys and they screwed up at the pool. So we're just going to let them get whacked. That'll make the point. Do you understand how America is looking at you idiots right now? And I say to folks, be cautious because 194 of them did the right thing. So I know everybody wants to burn the Republican Party down, but it really should be directed at the 25 idiots, not the 194. Believe me, I sense your frustration. And I'm having a hard time talking people out. Even though I never, ever, under any circumstances, recommend not voting, I'm having a difficult time talking people out with these 25 idiots, talking people out of not voting for them. Even though I know the alternative's even worse. I mean, I got a friend of mine who's retired. He was an NYPD detective. His pension's not enough, so he works. He has a job. He installs security cameras. He's got severe arthritis in his hand, but he didn't have enough money to hire people. He's out there up in people's attics, with his hands falling apart, running wire all day. This is like his 4th career. The guy's going to be 50. You think he wants to hear about you losers on Capitol Hill? I'm insulted. They voted to get rid of Kevin, so I'm going to continue to vote for Kevin. He's not running, you imbeciles. If Kevin McCarthy wants to put his name back in, then go ahead. Put your name back in. I don't agree. I don't think he's the best choice, but do it. He's not running. Mike just sent me a message. Not you, Mike. Another Mike. We need a squish list on the website. Yeah, we do. Unfortunately, it'd be pretty long. Now you see why we have that disclaimer when we have guests. We don't do squishes on this show. Don't even call us if you're one of those 25. And some of you have. A lot of them haven't. Good. We don't like you. You don't like us. But to those who have, lose my number. Do not call Jim. Do not call Mike. You are never coming back on this show again. I don't care what you do. You've embarrassed yourselves. You've embarrassed the country. You want to make a protest vote? Fine. In round 1, I'll give you a pass. Round 1, right, Jim? Round 1, voice your protest. You know what? Kevin's not running. We're just round 1. We're going to say we did what's in our hearts. But round 2, we'll do what's right for America. We're now on round 3, and it's getting worse. As they continue to give the middle finger to America, and as you call them, they then call you out, saying, how dare you call me? This is intimidation. They're actual representatives claiming you're intimidating them by calling them and expressing an opinion. Unreal, man. Unreal. Unreal. I'm not done with this yet. I'm not done. Here's Jan, furious. I know I'm furious too. Here, Misty just said, please ask your WPAP listeners, WBAP, to call Kay Granger's office. She was able to get through. They wanted to know if she was a constituent. So she's probably worried that she's ticking people off. Folks, just be cool about it. You don't need a lecture from me. I'm not your dad. Just be cool about it, because I don't want to give them a stupid talking point. We feel intimidated. Just tell them you are absolutely wrong. My vote is on the line. My donations are definitely on the line. And I will not knock on a single door for you if you don't get this thing unscrewed quick. More on this next. We'll be right back.
Bongino.
Are you reading the headlines? International threats, corruption here at home. Listen, when's it all going to end? Trouble is how it might end. It might end in a disaster. When the future's unstable and unsteady, access to food can be limited. You got to secure your own supply. Thanks to My Patriot Supply, you can. My Patriot Supply is the largest preparedness company in the country. They're dropping their price of their top-selling 3-month emergency food kit. I have one for every member of my family. You should too. Get a delicious variety of breakfast, lunches, and dinners and more for $200 off. Calories or survival in an emergency. Don't mess around with this. These meals offer over 2,000 calories a day. To prepare them, you just add water and heat. That's it. They buy in bulk. They pass the savings on to you. Visit preparewithbongino.com to save $200 on your food security today. Order by 3 o'clock for free same-day shipping. The website again, preparewithbongino.com. Preparewithbongino.com. That's preparewithbongino.com.
Dan Bongino.
Free speech is alive and well in America.
Sometimes it's hard to know what's real and what isn't.
Right here.
The country is heading in the wrong direction under this president.
We're suffering shortages. America's running out of everything.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion.
Tony Colombo here with a great offer from Zero Res. Just mentioned the Colombo special. When you book a cleaning in October, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129 plus $50 off an air duct cleaning. We've trusted Zero Res with our home for years, and 5,000 Google reviews with an average of 4.9 out of 5 says it all. Zero Res is the best when it comes to cleaning any surface in your home. Just remember to mention the Colombo special when you call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
John Michael Montgomery.
Lady in the second row. She's an 8, she's a 9, she's a 10, I know.
Live.
I swear.
The multiple Grammy, CMA, and ACM award winner. John Michael Montgomery with McBride and the Ride tonight at the Family Arena.
Waiting on.
Reserved seats are on sale now at the Carroll House box office, located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. John Michael Montgomery, live in concert.
'Cause you're my special thing.
Ruben Studdard and Clay Aiken. 20, the tour. Reunited 2 decades after their storied run on American Idol. Ruben and Clay. Friday, October 27th at the Family Arena. Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office, located at the Family Arena or at Ticketmaster. Ruben Studdard and Clay Aiken.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Beavis Shock, the attorney who originally made red light cameras illegal in the state of Missouri. How is the mayor bringing back red light cameras?
If everybody doesn't want red light camera tickets, why would aldermen vote for it? Well, they must have no fear of the voters. That tells you something's wrong with the voting habits of the public.
And they're Democrats.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-240-4586. 800-240-4586. That's 800-240-4586.
On the next, Larry Connors, USA.
Humanitarian aid for Gaza, but is it going to go to civilians or will it be confiscated by Hamas?
Larry Connors, USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
Turn it up to make sure your liberal neighbors finally hear some common sense. The Dan Bongino Show.
You know, if I was up there, I would want a privilege bill put on the floor right now. And I would say this: for every day we don't pick a speaker, you forfeit your pay. For every week, you forfeit a month's pay. For every month, you forfeit. Not delayed. You forfeit it completely. You watch these money-hungry losers would have a speaker in 10 seconds. Total scrubs. Remember TLC? I don't want no scrubs. I don't want no scrubs either. Hey, with everything going on in the world, Americans want to protect and provide for their families now more than ever. And the best way to do that is with a firearm made by our friends at Henry Repeating Arms. They're made right here in America. They offer 200 models to choose from and a wide variety of rifles, shotguns, and revolvers. They're all backed by a lifetime guarantee for complete satisfaction. Folks, here's what to do. This is a great company. We own quite a few of these rifles between me and Jim. Go to henryusa.com. Order their free catalog. It's right, free. They'll mail it with free decals so you can see the quality craftsmanship from your own home. Mine were spot on accurate right out of the box. It's the most reliable rifle I have ever owned. I have the .44 carbine, the survival rifle. I love it. Henry Repeating Arms are made in America. They stand by their products with a lifetime guarantee. If you're looking for home or property defense, a hunter, you're an outdoorsman, a beginner or a collector, you're not going to be able to do better than a Henry rifle. Make sure you go to their website, henryusa.com, and order their free catalog and decals. That's henryusa.com for a free catalog and decals, and to learn more about this great American company, you're going to love it.
Dan Bongino.
Yeah, I just said, Jim and I are chatting through the break, which I'm not supposed to tell you because who cares? It's during the break. But I don't want you to think this is some shtick me and him put on. We have never seen anything like this. I have been involved in politics pretty heavily for about 15 years. Jim, even longer than that, between his time in talk radio and stuff. Mike, too. Mike's been with a number of prominent hosts. I have never seen members of a party, not the whole party. Remember, 194 Republicans did the right thing. I have never seen members of a party, these 25 idiots who don't want to pick a speaker now, self-destruct so quickly and be proud of it. It's like they're totally oblivious to what's going on in the actual real world. It's like they're living in like the Truman Show with Jim Carrey.
Mystic Fix is sponsored by Kama Flight, redefining the dance between the masculine and feminine. Kama Flight is a somatic movement practice merging yoga, meditation, and massage. Workshops in 2023 are at the Chosen Retreat Center in Sebastian, Florida. For more, visit Kama Flight on Instagram at KAMAFLIGHT.
Facts don't matter. Lies don't matter. You or I lie, we go to jail. She lies.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
It's just part of the business. President lies, part of his business. Joe Biden couldn't tell the truth if he could remember it. And then you got Hunter Biden, because he's a drug addict, because he's a gun criminal, because, posts pictures of himself with hookers and crack pipes and all that kind of stuff. That makes him somehow wonderful.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
Freedom isn't just a word. It should be a way of life for all Missourians. Wouldn't it be wonderful to live in a state where you're free from excessive taxes, regulations, and corporate handouts, and free to send your children to the school of your choice? That's why we at the Show Me Institute put together our 2023 Missouri Blueprint, a roadmap on how the state can progress to a bright future. The blueprint covers policy ideas from taxes to government transparency, from education to healthcare, and more. Our vision is for Missouri to be a place where entrepreneurs can pursue their dreams. Parents are free to direct the education of their children, and a growing economy provides opportunities for all. Critical to achieving this vision is a government that understands the value of freedom in the lives and future of our people. Check out our 2023 Missouri Blueprint, moving Missouri forward at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. House Speaker Pro Tempore North Carolina Republican Patrick McHenry makes the announcement on the third round of voting.
No person having received a majority of the whole number of votes cast by surname, a speaker has not been elected. Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the chair declares the House in recess, subject to the call of the chair.
So Representative Jim Jordan loses his third bid for Speaker as the GOP stalemate deepens.
Jordan fell short in his third bid for Speaker on Friday after running headlong into continued opposition from a group of Republican holdouts who have vowed to block the Ohio Republican from the leadership post. Jordan said he would keep fighting to secure the majority of votes he needs to become Speaker and spent much of Wednesday afternoon meeting with some of the holdouts. But it was clear after the second ballot that there was no immediate end in sight to the stalemate that has left the House leaderless and in turmoil after 2 weeks of Republican infighting. Edwin Mora, Washington.
Also at townhall.com, President Biden's emergency budget request for Israel, Ukraine, and the southern border totals more than $105 billion.
Under the proposal, Ukraine would receive the most money, more than $61 billion, mostly for military assistance. Israel would receive some $14 billion for help with air and missile defense systems, and the White House wants about $14 billion to boost border agents and fentanyl-detecting machines at the U.S.-Mexico border.
White House correspondent Greg Cluxton. Hurricane Norma heading for the results of Los Cabos at the southern tip of Mexico's Baja California Peninsula, expected to continue weakening today and into the weekend as it nears land. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 95 points and the NASDAQ 102 points in the red. More at townhall.com.
Urgent Camp Lejeune settlement message. On September 6th, the government announced it will soon begin providing fast, guaranteed settlements to Camp Lejeune Marines, families, and civilians. Awards will range between $100,000 and $550,000 with an option for higher amounts. If you or a loved one spent time at Camp Lejeune and suffered cancers of the bladder, liver, or kidneys, leukemia, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Parkinson's, or kidney issues, you may qualify for compensation and could be paid within 60 days after accepting your settlement with your VA benefits fully protected. You may be entitled to a significant financial award for your Camp Lejeune claim, but you must act now. Call the James Harris Law Camp Lejeune helpline now to get the compensation you deserve. We're already fighting for thousands harmed by the water at Camp Lejeune. Call now or you may forever lose your right to be awarded a settlement between $100,000 and $550,000. For your free evaluation, call 800-320-7171. That's 800-320-7171. 800-320-7171.
This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
Yesterday's commentary talked about the New York Times. Is it really serving journalism or serving as a public relations firm for Hamas? Well, they ended up doing an article explaining why we had to change our headlines so many times. Blah, 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 blah. Bottom line, they did not do a proper investigation. They rushed to the story. They relied on a spokesman for the Gaza Health Ministry, which is clearly with the Hamas terrorist organization. And then they finally got their facts straight after they helped spread a fake news story. There is a former member of Hamas. In fact, his father was a leader. And he's telling what has happened inside Hamas and what we might face when Israeli troops go into Gaza. He had left his father, who was a leader in Hamas, a decade ago, and even became a Christian, now working with an Israeli intel source and helping them understand Hamas. Here's something that you should keep in mind. He said Hamas does not seek compromise. They want to build on the rubble of every civilization.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL. This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
I got an email which brought a smile. A woman named Mary wrote me, "We are purchasing a new roof from John Beal based on your recommendation." I thanked her then. I do it again now. Mary, I only endorse clients I believe in. And I've been a spokesman for John Beal for 10 years. It's all about trust. So if, like Mary, you need John Beal, Trust me. Call 1-800-NEW-ROOF. 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
This is Christina Straight with Straight Realty reminding you why pay more than $4. In 2003, we had a dream to start a real estate company that would revolutionize the real estate market. Now, 20 years later, after navigating through the many markets' ups and downs, we know exactly how to help you in this challenging time. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Don't give away your hard-earned equity. Give us a call today, 314-441-4444, 314-441-all-4s. And remember, why pay more than $4?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
I really enjoy a great cigar and a premium whiskey. And if you do, you should join me at Lit Cigar Lounge in the district off Highway 40 in Chesterfield. Lit is open to everyone, but I decided to become a member. You can too. Get special gifts, special events. Ladies, don't be intimidated. Bring a group of girlfriends. You'll also enjoy Lit Cigar Lounge. Lit also has a cigar and tobacco shop on Main Street in Old St. Charles. LitSTL.com. LitSTL.com.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
Everybody has a right to have their opinion and voice their opinion.
Live and local.
I always approach it from this standpoint. Leftist malfeasance is presupposed.
This is News Talk STL. This hour of the Dan Bongino Show brought to you by STL Fenceworks, celebrating 50 years of industry-leading service for fence, deck, and leisure space solutions. Visit STLFenceworks.com.
From the podcast to the radio show, because the news cycle is running in, what would you say, Jim, 5-minute cycles right now? I mean, it's insane how much news is coming out. Just during the break, Hamas released the Hamas demon savages. We got to throw that in there because that's who they are. Have released 2 American hostages, according to reports on multiple cable outlets. We don't know names, genders, anything about it. But multiple sources are now breaking this too. There are still more out there. I think 12 more. I'm hoping to get to this later. We've got a lot to get to. I think it's related to the Biden team tragically doxing those Delta guys who are now hopefully in not that much, but definitely in danger. I'm speculating. Maybe I shouldn't, but I'm very emotional about this, that the Biden team that this isn't the biggest story in America right now, that American hostages are being held by a bunch of demon savages, and that media outlets don't really seem to care too much. 2 of them have been released. I would not be surprised, and someone kind of tweaked me a little bit on this, that these Hamas people are thinking to themselves, the demon savages, they got American Delta on the ground. I'm not sure we want to toy around with them. Listen, can I take a point of personal privilege here about Delta? I was an instructor, a class coordinator for these Secret Service classes. It was my first job I had outside of the field. When I left the field, I transferred to Washington, D.C. to do it. And I was coordinating this class. I think it was 225, Special Agent Training Class 225. And they were good guys. But we had a couple of people in there who, they would, screw around a little too much, if you know what I mean. So one day they lost the flag they'd have to carry. They left it behind. So my class coordinator partner, this guy Tim, who was one of the baddest dudes I ever met, he made them carry a 53-pound kettlebell around all day and not put it down. So they had to pass it from agent trainee to agent trainee. It wasn't allowed to hit the floor. So during the end of the day, we have an exercise pad outside of the weightlifting room on our training campus. They were all tired. It was about 7 o'clock at night. I don't know if it was a Thursday or whatever. And they were whining, I could tell. They were good guys, but they were getting all whiny. You guys are being too tough on us, whatever. I said, you think we're being too tough? I said, let me tell you a little story. You guys ever hear that Black Hawk Down incident in Somalia, and they all raised their hand? Most of them had seen the movie or read the book. I said, you ever hear the name Gary Gordon and Randy Shugart? And a couple guys knew, but most of the class didn't. They were Delta snipers, Delta Force. Delta Force are the baddest ass operators on planet Earth. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not even a close second. Even special forces guys look up to the Delta guys. These guys are stone cold, man. If they're coming in your house, you ain't leaving. And if they're coming in your house, they're there for a reason. Because you're probably a pretty evil son of a thing. Gary Gordon and Randy Shugart were in a helicopter in a bird when one of those Blackhawks went down in Somalia. And hundreds of Somali attackers stormed the fallen helicopter and ripped the pilot and the dead passengers out. And Gary Gordon and Shugart were above in another helicopter looking down. I know one of the guys who was personally involved in this. I actually know two of the guys. And the story, as I'm telling you, is actually how it happened. They called into their operational HQ and said, put us down on the ground. And the HQ said, we're not putting you down on the ground. You'll be overrun. There's two of you. There's probably hundreds, if not thousands of them. You'll be killed. They asked again, put us down on the ground. They said, we're not going to do that. They asked a third time, put us down on the ground. And to be sure, HQ responded back, are you sure you know what you're asking? Looking at certain death, staring absolutely certain death in the face, and knowing it would probably be ugly and violent, those two Delta Force snipers, Gary Gordon and Randy Shugart, two American legends and heroes. They stepped off that helo on the ground, and they died minutes later, overrun by demon savages. That's Delta Force. I hope these guys who are holding our hostages now, I hope they understand that some of those guys could be coming for you. And I hope you'll release them. Because I promise you, when those door kickers come your way, you ain't leaving on 2 feet. You're leaving parallel to the ground. I had the honor of meeting some of these guys on a trip I was on. And one specifically, he had that stare, man. He'd seen a lot. He'd seen a lot. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if the outrageous amateur hour childish Biden social media team that doxed a couple of these Delta guys and put their picture on the internet, putting them and their families in danger, by the way. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of these Hamas coward, chump, loser zeros saw that and thought, maybe we better start releasing the Americans. I hope so. Let me just tie these stories together unintentionally, but how do you think, again, to the 25 Congress people right now on the Republican side, representatives, who can't seem to get their act together? You got a bunch of Delta members and probably some spec ops guys overseas right now getting ready to try and rescue American hostages. How do you think this sounds to them? That you got your diaper full right now because Kevin McCarthy's not running and you just don't want a new speaker. How do you think that sounds to them? I just had a good friend reach out to me, and I mean a very good friend, and let me know something interesting about John James, a Republican from Michigan who's run multiple times for office. And by the way, we had supported. I'm embarrassed to say that. He's another one of these holdouts who keeps voting for people who aren't running for speaker. I don't know, he's helping the people of Michigan somehow by voting for a guy who's not running. A friend of mine just reached out because this friend, let's say, thought John James was the real deal too. He gave the speech. Remember, Jim? Rah, rah, MAGA, baby. I'm in it for you. Oh, yeah, you're in it for us. Well, what's your mob, Matt? What does MAGA mean to you? What does that mean? Make America go astray? What does that mean to you? I just made that up. Jim's like, that's pretty clever. No, it's not. A friend of mine just reached out and said, John James, it's all about the earmarks. Actually sent me a radio interview. I thought, oh, that's how you go. That Jim, now I feel better. Do you? You feel better about John James? I'm sorry. Now, Jim was going to eat some. Go ahead, eat that. I feel so much, poor guy never gets eaten. I feel so much better. John James in Michigan doesn't want a speaker. We've got American hostages being held overseas. We've got World War III getting ready to break out. We've got a U.S. destroyer in the Red Sea taking out missiles, flying all over the region. You've got the Iranians threatening death to America again, but John James is worried about earmarks. D'Esposito in Nassau County, he's worried about the salt deduction. Newsflash, guys, there's a time and a place for that. Today ain't it, fellas. Jim, please. Mike, please. Westwood, can you fire this idiot? Folks, I got a moron for a producer. Jim's like, Dan, don't you actually have a speaker and be in session to fix these things? Of course, Jim. Stop thinking like a normal person. Why are you thinking like a normal person? We're talking about congressional representatives, i.e. morons. But 25, don't hold it against the whole party, folks. 194 did the right thing. I'm not here defending them. I'm not right. I can't stand these people any more than you can. But it's a small group of idiots. My friend tells me also that John James is, quote, getting scorched by callers. Good. Keep scorching. Keep it respectful. Because then it just defeats the whole purpose. But keep up the scorching. Chad Pergram, by the way, listen, if you're not following this guy on Twitter, you're making a big mistake. He's at Chad, Pergram. There's nobody who does, Jim, don't you agree? Nobody does inside baseball on Capitol Hill like this guy. He knows everything. If you're following him on Twitter, you're 25 minutes ahead of everyone. He just tweeted out. So Matt Gaetz and the other 7 who voted to vacate the speaker with the Democrats. Gaetz has now stepped forward. This goes to show you how juvenile the 25 are. And again, I didn't agree with that move. It doesn't matter. It's over. What I said back then, I still stand by. It makes no difference now because we are where we are. Gaetz has now come forward, according to Chad Pergram's Twitter, and said that the 8 of us, quote, have said, we're willing to accept censure, sanction, suspension, even removal from the Republican caucus if they will just go ahead and vote for Jim Jordan. He says, Gaetz says, well, of course, vote Republican, will remain Republican, and stand with Republican issues. Whoa, okay, what else could you guys possibly want? To John James, D'Esposito, Kay Granger, Simpson from Idaho, Mario Diaz-Balart, Vern Buchanan, the bowler. What else do you want? McCarthy's not running. McCarthy just tweeted out again in favor of Jordan. McCarthy, you know I hate the word literally nominated Jordan. There is no one else running. And Gaetz and the 8 have said, you need your scalps, you need your pound of flesh, censor us, sanction us, take us off committee assignments, remove us from the Republican Party. I think that's stupid, but what else could you want? I'm saying I wouldn't remove them. It's dumb. However, if that's what you need, what else do you want? Folks, I got a whole shit. Jim, open your microphone for a second because I need to. Can you vouch for me here? We haven't even got yet to story 1.
To nothing. Yes, we haven't gotten to anything.
We're at 0. Yes, Jim. Here, I wish I had a. Here, look. There's a rundown of the show. Like I spent the whole day, right, Jim? The whole day putting this thing. Well, not the whole day. 2 hours. I'm not even at story 1. Auburn, Washington, self-defense story. I'm not even there yet. Why am I not there yet? Because I'm so pissed off that we have 25 Republicans who really cannot read the room at all, have no ability to look around in the middle of everything going on with the world on fire and saying, guys, maybe we should grow up, set an example for the country, get Jim Jordan in there, get some kind of resolution on the floor moving forward Fix this broken process. I say the first bill that should come forward after we get a speaker, they should all be locked in a room with IVs so they don't dehydrate to death. You don't want them turned into beef jerky. No food and no pay. And the door should, and with buckets to do their business in until you get a speaker. That's the first bill. We're not even going to do it on the House floor. We're going to do it in a bank vault. We'll put a doctor in there, whatever. Can all get your medications. We'll all have IVs so your electrolytes are balanced or whatever. No food and no pay. What do you think? Maybe then they'll get over themselves. So pathetic. One last time, Congress people listening, my Facebook page is absolutely burning down right now. It is the first time in 2.5 years on the radio I can't even read all the messages. And you really think you're winning right now? You can't possibly be that stupid. We'll be right back.
Bongino.
Last month, the G20 announced a plan to impose digital currencies and digital IDs on their population. Central bank digital currencies essentially could allow the government to track every purchase someone makes. Some believe it could even prohibit someone from purchasing certain products or freeze or seize part or all their money. Been warned about this forever. Concerned Americans are diversifying their assets into physical gold with the help of Birch Gold Group. If you want physical gold held in a tax-sheltered retirement account, call Birch Gold. I buy gold through Birch Gold. Why? Because I trust them. I've used them twice. Text Bongino, Bongino, to 989898. They'll send you a free information kit on gold. Listen, if you have an IRA or 401k from a previous employer, Birch Gold can help you convert it to an IRA in gold, and you don't pay a penny out of pocket. Text Bongino to 989898. Diversify and claim your free information kit on gold, because if digital currency becomes a reality, it'll be nice to have some gold to fall back on. Performance may vary. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision. Message and data rates apply.
Dan Bongino.
So many ways to listen to News Talk STL.
Come join the conversation.
Enable our Alexa skill. Hey, Alexa, play News Talk STL.
Welcome to News Talk STL, conservative talk radio for St. Louis.
Always streaming at newstalkstl.com or on your radio at 1019, 94.1, and 99.1 HD3. News Talk STL. News, analysis, and opinion. Welcome home.
Get ready for winter by making sure your family is warm and safe when the bone-chilling weather gets here. Mike Ferguson here for Anton's Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Energy Experts. Call them today to get your furnace tune-up. It's only $89, and it could save you hundreds or even thousands by preventing a breakdown. 314-338-3941 or antonshvac.com. Anton's installed our HVAC system, and we love it. Put their expertise and excellent customer service to work for you, just like they did for my house. antonshvac.com.
The Herzog Foundation is the vision of its founder, Stanley Herzog, and it exists to promote and accelerate the development of quality Christ-centered K-12 education.
Hi, this is Daryl Jones, president of the Herzog Foundation. We have an exciting new training opportunity available for public school and Christian school teachers. The Herzog Foundation Institute has partnered with the Bill of Rights Institute to offer 4 training events in 4 Missouri cities this year. These day-long professional development opportunities are best suited for middle and high school civics, government, U.S. history, and social studies teachers. Middle and high school teachers have a unique opportunity to strengthen civic knowledge and values for the next generation. We want to help teachers seize this opportunity.
Visit herzogfoundation.com/events to learn more and register for a Bill of Rights Institute training event near you. herzogfoundation.com/events. herzogfoundation.com/events.
With this gorgeous fall weather upon us, I couldn't think of a better place than to hang out any time during the week than Johnny's Hideout in High Ridge, Missouri, located just 10 minutes from 270 and Gravois, the go-to St. Louis sports bar and grill experience, 30 big screen TVs, a full bar, fantastic food, including the famous Johnny Dow's chicken wings, sunset patio with the Cattleman's Grill, train station bar, live music throughout the week with local musicians, a huge game room. They're open 7 days a week. You can check out the speaker of the house table on your next visit. For more information, visit them at jhideout.com. That's jhideout.com. Johnny's Hideout in High Ridge.
The flow of information.
This week on News Talk STL.
Take a look at what's going on.
To get to the bottom.
News, analysis, opinion.
Speaker of the House of Representatives is hereby declared vacant.
Matt Gaetz needs to quit being a chaos agent. $33 trillion in debt is chaos.
Our investigation is now focused on whether President Biden engaged in impeachable offenses.
101.9 and 94.1.
It's happening for a single reason, because I'm the only candidate they do not want to run against.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
Keeping his friends close and his enemies educated. The Dan Bongino Show.
Folks, you're doing it. You're getting it done. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You are lighting up these congressional phone lines. I'm not going to say what station. We even had a board op at one of our bigger stations. Just relay to our team that even he just called. Light him up. Light him up. You ever hear that Morgan Miles song? Light him up, light him up, light him up, light him up, hit him up. Light him up, baby. Light him up. These people work for you. Light him up. Hey, you have shoeboxes full of photos? You have an easy way to share those photos with friends and family or post them? Probably not. Lucky for you, we found a solution. I use them. The new photo box from Legacy Box. This thing's really cool. With Legacy Box, you can get your family's photos professionally scanned for as low as 7 cents, which is 76% less than what other brands charge. As the world's largest digitizer, you know you can trust Legacy Box to digitize your entire collection of 4x6 photos. Everything from the embarrassing haircut you had in the 90s to photos of your great-grandma's wedding. Don't forget, Legacy Box also digitizes over 15 other types of analog media. So you can get your favorite Christmas memories on VHS or grandpa's film reels from the 40s digitized too. Don't let time fade your precious photographs or other memories. Trust me, you owe it to yourself to protect and save these family keepsakes. We use it. I love it. Everybody in my family's use Legacy Box. I use it for some pictures of my brother when he was younger playing hockey in Glendale. Take advantage of this exclusive offer on the new Photo Legacy Box today and preserve your past for as low as 7 cents. Go to legacybox.com/DanB. That's legacybox.com/DanB.
Dan Bongino.
You're lighting them up, folks. Light up the congressional phone lines. Tell them enough. Jordan's the guy. He's got 194 votes. It's you 20 idiots. Someone just sent, Brian R. just sent me a message. I said, how do you think this sounds to America? You guys can't do your jobs up in Congress and pick a damn speaker. You bunch of kids. It's an insult to kids. My daughter would have voted already. She's 11. I was going to say 19, but the older one. Brian sends to me, hey, man, I work in a garbage company, waking up at 3 a.m., working 50 hours plus a week in a one-man truck in all sorts of weather all year long. And these idiots can't put their big boy pants on? Congress people, man, you are playing with political fire. You have no idea how furious people are with you right now. We've got oatmeal brains in the White House on the ropes. You've got a world war getting ready to break out, inflation through the roof, and you idiots are throwing a hissy fit like a bunch of...
Paid actor portrayal.
I didn't see it coming. Life can be so unpredictable. After losing my dad, it made me think about my family if something were to happen to me. The mortgage, car payments, and all the other bills. Even things like our annual summer vacation would be out of reach. I had heard about life insurance through Ethos and how easy it was to get coverage. They were right. I knew it was time to stop putting it off and get life insurance right now. I got on my computer and went to ethoslife.com. In just 10 minutes, I was covered. And boom, family protected. Thanks to Ethos, my family won't have to worry about the bills if the unpredictable happens to me.
Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's GETETHOS.com.
Dan Bongino.
Are you paying?
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Israel says it does not plan to take long-term control over the Gaza Strip after an expected ground offensive to root out Hamas militants that rule the territory. The Israeli military has punished Gaza with airstrikes. Fighting between Israel and militants in neighboring Lebanon has also raged. Republican Jim Jordan has failed again in a third try for the House Speaker's gavel. Jordan getting less votes than in the first two ballots. It's not known if a fourth ballot will take place. Baltimore city officials say a rapidly intensifying blaze has engulfed multiple row houses in northwest Baltimore, and that left one firefighter dead, 4 others injured. The Dow is down 114 points, the S&P 500 losing 24. This is SRN News.
Urgent Camp Lejeune settlement message. On September 6th, the government announced it will soon begin providing fast, guaranteed settlements to Camp Lejeune Marines, families, and civilians. Awards will range between $100,000 and $550,000, with an option for higher amounts. If you or a loved one spent time at Camp Lejeune and suffered cancers of the bladder, liver, or kidneys, leukemia, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Parkinson's, or kidney issues, you may qualify for compensation and could be paid within 60 days after accepting your settlement, with your VA benefits fully protected. You may be entitled to a significant financial award for your Camp Lejeune claim, but you must act now. Call the James Harris Law Camp Lejeune helpline now to get the compensation you deserve. We're already fighting for thousands harmed by the water at Camp Lejeune. Call now or you may forever lose your right to be awarded a settlement between $100,000 and $550,000. For your free evaluation, call 800-320-7171. That's 800-320-7171. 800-320-7171.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Trump World, the Crime Crisis, and SCOTUS with Zach Smith at 425. Accountability in Congress, Patrick Ishmael, 525.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Hey, Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros. When Christine and I bought our new house, we knew the gutters were an issue. And after meeting the Gutter Pros team, we knew that they were right for us. Gutter Pros is your all-in-one gutter service team that offers a variety of affordable solutions. And they even offer free estimates, so there's no cost to you to find out if they are right for your home, just like they were for ours. If you're having a problem with your gutters, contact the Gutter Pros now, because with Gutter Pros, water goes where they tell it to. Call them at 314-656-7195 or visit gutterpros.com.
Hi, Chris Arps here. Join me and the team at Royal Banks of Missouri for their annual Economic Forecast Breakfast. The event will take place on Tuesday, November 14th at the Factory in the District in the Chesterfield Valley. Hear from the experts and get a better understanding of what to expect from the U.S. economy in 2024 and beyond. Attendance is free, but you do need to reserve a spot. You can RSVP by sending an email to emails@royalbanksnet.com or by calling 314-212-1545. Royal Banks, Missouri, the community bank that is in your community.
Hi, it's Todd Showalter along with my buddy Joey V from The Right Mind Show. Say hi, Joey.
No, thanks.
Join us every Saturday at 5 p.m. where we put the fun in our dysfunctional world. Want to add anything, Joey?
Oh, no, thank you.
Plus, exciting guest and King Kirby from DiscountCoffee.com. Take us out, Joey.
Get Jim Modulin to do it.
Putting the fun in our dysfunctional world. It's The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter. Saturday afternoons at 5 on News Talk STL. This is what's happening.
We need to pray for the people in Israel.
The United States stands with Israel.
This is when the president has to send a very clear and unmistakable message.
101.9 and 94.1.
Israel cannot stop until this job is done.
News Talk STL. This hour of the Dan Bongino Show brought to you by STL FenceWorks, celebrating 50 years of industry-leading service for fence, deck, and leisure space solutions. Visit stlfenceworks.com.
Heard. Call 844-4-THE-USA now to let Dan know what you think. 844-484-3872. The Dan Bongino Show.
Again, I gotta get to I just can't believe the stupid. Here, I'm going to give you all a quick tip because whining about it isn't going to do me any good either. 25 idiots in the Republican Party still don't want to pick a speaker while the world melts down. So here's what I need you to do so I can move on. Because a ton of people are asking me, who's my congressman? What's their number? I don't know. We have 8.5 million listeners. I wish I could help you all, but I can't. is a very simple way to do this. The easiest way is if you go to any search engine at all and put in find my congressman, the first thing that's going to come up, you can just go right to the site. You don't even have to put that, is house.gov. House.gov. House, like I live in a house, House of Representatives, house.gov. The zip code line is right there. Put your zip code in. Look, Brian Mast, he's my con, comes right up. Phone number comes right up. I need a favor from you because this Bongino army matters. We have 100,000 something people who join us for the podcast and millions who join us here in these stations. And if we can't do this together, then we can't do anything and it's worthless. I'm not on this show for clicks or dough or money or anything else. I don't give a damn. I'll be fine. I believe in this place. We're in a lot of trouble. We can save it. And I'm not handing my kids a crappier country than my hero grandfather who fought in the Battle of the Bulge and my Uncle Greg, who died in Vietnam, shot in the back, saving his buddies, gave me because of 25 idiots. So I'm asking you with respect, house.gov, or just put in find my congressman and send both an email and call. And listen, if it's busy, call again. You don't have to sit there all day, wait an hour, call back. And let them know you know how to handle it. Do it respectfully or you lose everything. Send them with a worded email. You know what to write. You don't nothing crazy, please. It hurts everyone. And they're just going to ignore it, or you can get yourself in trouble. You don't want to do that. But be direct. That you are a constituent. They work for you. You are a voter. If you're a donor, let them know. If you're a volunteer, let them know. And that there'll be no money, no volunteering, and maybe no vote too if you don't get your head surgically removed from your rectal cavity and get a damn speaker, you bunch of idiots. And I'll say to you too, on a positive note, because many of you are going to have congressmen in the Republican side who did the right thing. That's why I'm saying don't throw the Republican Party totally under the bus. 194 people did the right thing. It's not their fault. If they voted right, send them a thank you. Thanks for standing strong for Jim Jordan. That matters too, folks. We can't hemorrhage any more support. I'm a constituent. Thanks for doing the right thing, Daddy-O. We appreciate, may want to leave the Daddy-O out, but you get the point. It's a Queens thing. That matters. We can't lose any more support. Jim Jordan is the only option now. I don't know what else they want to hear. Gates and his team have already said, censure us, suspend us, kick us out of the caucus. If that's what you need to do. It's a stupid idea, but if that's what these idiots need, I'd rather that than have no speaker. Someone tweeted to me yesterday, and I get it, folks, but this is not correct. He said, well, Dan, maybe it's better off we don't have a speaker. Nothing's going to happen. Well, listen, in some respects, the government not doing anything is a good thing. I mean, if they're going to pass some stupid regulations, I'd rather them not be there at all. The problem is everything else is shut down too. The Hunter Biden investigation, a potential impeachment of Joe Biden. Folks, we got hostages overseas right now. There's no time to have a government that's not functioning at all. And believe me, there's no more bitter guy at the U.S. government out there for real reasons than me. But we're the majority. The Democrats are still functioning on the Senate, where they have the majority. They're doing their thing. They're busy passing stuff to screw you over. If the best we can do is in the Republican majority in the House is just block stuff, I'd rather have a functioning majority than nothing. What's the point of voting then? Right? Light them up, man. Light them up. House.gov, put in your zip code, and send that email. Folks, you don't owe me squat, okay? I owe you a good show every day. You owe me nothing. You owe me zero. I'm asking you as a friend to do this. Not for me, for you. My congressman knows where I stand. We are on in this market. But send a thank you if they did the right thing. And if they did the wrong thing, let them know. No votes, no money, no volunteering, no nothing. because this is ridiculous. Folks, Biden gave a speech last night, and I don't even know what to say. It was such an epic disaster. Jim, you heard the speech. We were watching it together. Let me read to you, Jim. Do you mind if I read your text? I should ask permission before. Is that all right? Okay. Well, I'll have to censor it a little bit. Here's Jim last night at 8:11 p.m. Eastern time. I wish I could read it. If there's a podcast, I could actually read it on here. Is this guy kidding right now with this? And I said back, wow, this is embarrassing. Islamophobia? What is he talking about? You got to, you think, wait, just to be clear, Biden spent 15 minutes last night addressing Ukraine, Islamophobia, and in passing, he's like, hey, by the way, there's a couple of hostages and America's dead and Iran stinks. Oh, next thing, let's move to the next thing. While he was, it's Jim, maybe it's time for this. Jim speaks many languages. This may be the time for this. Because I need to calm down a little bit because my blood pressure, the 24 Republican idiots have me so furious right now. I had to take some nattokinase. I get my blood volume like a little lower. Jim speaks Biden. I didn't know this. Now, he's been our Arabic translator, a little bit of Spanish all week. I didn't know he spoke Biden because almost nobody speaks Biden other than Biden. That's the problem. But Jim took a class. It's a special class. Cost a lot of money. I had to reimburse him as a work cost. So Jim was kind enough to translate from Biden's speech last night, a snippet of it. He did the world a big service. So because nobody understood what he was saying. So if you would, Jim, check this out.
Good evening, my fellow
Good
Americans.
evening.
No, early
Look,
this morning I returned.
I know everyone is thinking about the situation in Israel right now,
To travel there during the war.
but I want to talk about Ukraine. We still need to send lots of money to Ukraine, even though it has nothing to do with Israel. Because if I stop, they could possibly release tapes, documents, or other evidence that exposes my family's corrupt dealings with foreign nations.
I secured an agreement.
Also, I'm not freezing the $6 billion for Iran.
From the United Nations to Palestinians.
I still think it's a good idea to give $100 million to Hamas. And I'm going to mention Islamophobia for some reason. Not a joke. Thank you. And God save the Queen.
That's great, Jim. I appreciate you doing that because nobody understood what he was saying. He threw that "God Save the Queen" in again, which is so weird. That's not our thing. I didn't know we had a queen, but thank you for doing that. That was essentially Biden's speech. Oh, okay, fact checkers, Bill D. McCarthy, Jacob Reyes, Louis Jacobson, as a joke. But the only reason that even kind of resonates a little bit is that was most of the speech. Give me $60 billion more for Ukraine. We just had a massive terror strike over in Israel, and there's 14, now 12 American hostages, or 32 Americans dead. You think you want to kind of stick to, kind of like horse blinkers on right now, like just stick to kind of what's going on right now, like right this second? He can't do it. And he spent about 20% of the speech talking about Islamophobia, which, by the way, folks, you don't need to hear this from me because you know it's already true. But in case anybody needed some clarification from like Media Doesn't Matter or all those other goofy places, we condemn any form of phobophobias, istophobias, phobophobias, Islamophobias, misogynistic phobophobias, homophobia, transophobia. Listen, we condemn it all. Why? Because we just don't like judging people based on characteristics that may have nothing to do with who they are. Okay? That's just kind of like the standard, my approach. I ain't here to judge you, man. I got my own issues. But is that really like the big problem right now going on? Yeah, we've had a couple incidents. One was pretty tragic. But just to be clear, you've got campuses all over the country erupting in what? Islamophobia? No, that's right. In a bunch of free Palestine from the river to the sea, meaning exterminate the Jews thing. And college campuses are like, yeah, boy, this is so great. I wish Flat Stanley was there. This is the problem? Have we seen this? Now, there have been massive outbreaks across the United States of anti-Semitism. For some reason, it's the weirdest thing. Like, if you're a lefty, you run, basically your entire life is spent running after discrimination, like finding it everywhere, even where it doesn't exist, like Juicy Smollett. I was leaving Subway, and they said, get that. And they put out a noose, and everybody was like, in Chicago? Like Dave Chappelle did a whole skit on this, you know? This is MAGA country, Chicago, where I don't think there's a Trump voter left. But besides the point, they spend their entire lives chasing discrimination. 99% of it is not even real. Bubba Wallace, like, man, we found a noose. It's got a name. It's called the garage pole. Have you ever seen that before? It's got a name. It's called a rope. You pull the garage down with it. But don't worry. There was a whole march for that. Remember, everybody was hugging them and all. And it's the weirdest thing. You've got Asian kids who can't get into school unless they've got a 42,000 SAT. And then you've got people on college campuses like, kill the Jews. And they're like, it's okay. Let's go with the Juicy Smollett story instead. Well, okay. It sounds legit. You guys sound like you're very principled. Sound like you really stand for something. That's why I'm really proud to be a conservative. I am, man. The last 3 weeks, a lot of people have shown their asses. And you know what? A bunch of people in the conservative movement were like, nah, man, we don't do that here, okay? We believe in God, family, and country in that order. And people have God-given rights, regardless of their faith. Jew, Muslim, Christian, Hindu, whatever it is. And they have the God-given right to practice it. Whether you agree with their faith or not, that's a faith-based issue, but it's not a government one. We've cleaned our party up of the nonsense. And if you've been on social media, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Not the left. Not the left, man. Left loves this stuff. You got people on college campuses all across the country winking and nodding. It's exterminating the Jews. And colleges, they're not upset one bit. Yet I dare you to go to that college campus with a Trump 2024 sign. You'll probably be dead in 15 minutes. They'll drag your body through the whole campus. Like Achilles dragged Hector at the end of the movie, the movie based on the Trojan War. Troy, sorry. Drawing blanks. My favorite book, too. But don't worry about it. There's nothing to see here, folks. Proud as hell to be a conservative. Aren't you embarrassed being a lefty? You got your minority leader in the House, Hakeem Jeffries, and Nancy Pelosi. They're like, hey, one of your members, Rashida Tlaib, is actively promoting Hamas terrorist war propaganda while we still have American hostages about a hospital bombing hoax. You think you guys should clear that up? Hakeem Jeffries is like, I don't know, bro. Haven't seen the tweet. Oh, you haven't? That's weird. It's got like 74 million views. You haven't seen that? That's strange. What were you, in a bomb shelter? You missed it? Nobody told you about it? And by the way, where are the reporters going? Oh, I'll show it to you right now. But, I mean, it's not really hard to read. It's right there. It's only like 4 lines. Nancy Pelosi. I don't know. Haven't seen it. Meanwhile, they're like, here's the same reporters about a Republican. Congressman Jones, there's a guy in your district. His name is Rob Bag of Donuts. And 7 years ago, he made a Snapchat video where he was singing a rap song. And he said some really nasty stuff in that rap song. Do you condemn this? Condemn it now, sir. Now. Or we're doing a front page story tomorrow. The same media. Same media. It's all legit, though, folks. Don't worry. It's all legit. Media's all legit. This would have been a great time for that supercut of them running cover for the Demon Savages, but we're out of time. I can't. Maybe we'll play it now if I have some time. The media, they run cover for the Demon Savages. Because remember, the only acceptable form of discrimination with the left is if you scream, kill the Jews, or you keep Asians out of colleges. That's fine with them. That's perfectly okay. But they're principled, right? They're principled. Freaking losers, man. Losers. I had to take a break. We'll be right back.
Bongino.
Hi, this is Dan Bongino. According to a recent study of hundreds of post-abortive women, 60% of women reported that they would have preferred to give birth if they had received more support from others or had more financial security. And that's where Preborn steps in. Meet Kelsey, a brave young woman who chose life after meeting her child on ultrasound.
I ended up deciding to keep my son, who is now 5 years old today. I love him to pieces. He brings absolute joy to my heart. I could not imagine life without him. Not only did they help me save his life, they saved my life.
When you support Preborn, not only could you save a child, you could save a mother. Your donation of $28 could help a woman to make a choice that she won't have to regret for the rest of her life and could give her the ultimate blessing, life. Your love can save a life. Just dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250 baby, or visit preborn.com/Bongino. That's preborn.com/Bongino.
Dan Bongino.
Columbo and